Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, but I can't hear you guys. But I had to at least start the show because I was having technical difficulties on the laptop. So I do apologize about that, guys. I'm Grace with Embrace the Grace. Thank y'all for coming to the show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the patience. Y'all still hanging around. Just so for my new embracers, for my new panelists, so you guys can get to know me. My show is about embracing the truth. We have the uncomfortable, messy, awkward conversations that are necessary to have. The only thing that I ask of you guys is that we respect each other and that we do not display sign language, because I will not hesitate to kick you off my panel. We're going to keep it graceful, not gangster. Okay? So with that being said, you can find me definitely on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and on the JVJ network on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. And I'm also a part of the Broadwalk Global Media crew. Gary, he put me onto that. And speaking of Gary, this is my co-host. He's been rocking with me since the first of the year, day one. Gary, go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know where we can find you.
What's up, everyone? This is Gary D, co-hosting here on Embrace the Grace. I'm CEO of Boardwalk Global Media. We're a multimedia podcast company. We have a couple of podcasts that we do every week. Our main podcast, The Real Discussion, comes on Friday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and all the other platforms. It's the Real Discussion featuring The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, featuring Gary D and Robin. You could find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Boardwalk Global Media, or The Real Discussion. And I'm always here to support Grace, the newest member of the Boardwalk Global Media family.
Gary, I can't hear you guys right now. So, Israel, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, let people know about you and where we can find you, because this is how we do it over here, because we all become a family.
And no doubt. Thank you for having me. Embrace the Grace. What's going on, Gary? And to my other fellow panelists. Shout out to the chat, the Embracers. Hey, listen. Israel Mills 4183 on YouTube. I usually stream in the morning time, and then also sometimes in the evening. You can also find me on the Toxic Avengers Network Friday and Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All righty, and then we got my other guest, Mr. Best in the World 84.
Salute,
Go ahead and
family.
introduce yourself.
Salute. Thank you so much for having me on here. Grace, thank you so much. All the brothers on here, thank y'all for, allowing me to be on a panel with y'all. You can catch me at Knowledge and Relationships. Also, you can catch me on the Intellectual Soapbox. Those are my two channels. And definitely check us out. We are on a little bit of a break at the moment. We'll be coming back probably within a month or two. But in that time, we are still producing content with a vast majority of content creators. So please check us out. And yet again, salute to everybody on the panel. Thank you for having me on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not giving up on this, guys. So we building this, we flying this plane while we flying it, like the old Kevin Samuels used to say. Okay, so with that being said, let me try to bring. You can't hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. Because I'm talking. I'm trying to bring on Leanne. Okay, so let's just get to it. Last week we talked about insecurities. We talked about what insecurities was, what the effects of insecurities, what causes insecurities. But tonight we're going to talk about the most common insecurities that men have, and the most common insecurities that women have, and what we can do to work together to have better, healthier, and secure relationships. So Gary, with that being said, I'm gonna put y'all on blast tonight because this is a safe place. Off the rip, tell me 2 insecurities you've always had, either growing up as a childhood or even now.
Now there's not really any. There's not really any. But when I was a child, it was because I was dark. So clearly, because I was dark, I always got teased. So that was something that happened with me when I was a child throughout my teens.
Okay, so that was one. What was the other one?
That was it. That was the only one.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Israel, tell me one of your. I doubt you have any, but what you working with?
Well, when I was a kid, of course, one of my insecurities was money, being able to eat. You know what I'm saying? And being able to have enough money. Another insecurity was being able to protect myself and my family. I mean, growing up where I grew up, it was very rough. And, that was a constant concern of mine, being good enough to be able to protect myself and protect my family.
Facts. Mr. Best in the World, give 2 insecurities that you had to endure growing up or right now.
I would say growing up would be making sure that, my intellect was on par, because I knew that, my mom always pushed education, because she wanted me to make it out of my community. She wanted me to be better than, everything that was around me. So I was always insecure. Even if I would get a B or B plus in a grade, it wasn't good enough for me. If I was getting 80 in a grade, it wasn't good enough for me. So I always was insecure about that. I'll say another insecurity of mine was, I would say, always making sure that everything around me is completely perfect, from my appearance to, my clothes to everything. Always just striving for that. And that was another thing that my mom pushed always, was you got to always look good, smell good, everything. So, I always got to make sure I always got a bunch of cologne and, smell good, and nails got to look right, and I got to cut my nails and make sure I'm shaved and all that. So these are things that I've always pushed for myself. And sometimes it can become an extreme thing where I can kind of allow it to manifest in other areas, and then I have to take a chill pill and be like, all right, that's not even that important right now. So yeah, it's things that I just have to learn through and grow through, and it's still a learning process. So yeah.
I hear you. Okay, what about you, Leanne? Talk to me. What did you have to endure as a kid? Or even now as an adult?
I mean, probably for me more as a kid was just stuff that I just didn't really do the girl thing, where they were so competitive and once you like kind of hit middle school and elementary school, the girls always kind of pair off and do that. And like, it just never made sense to me. So I just kind of was more independent and on my own and just didn't really fit into that area. And so I always felt like, you know, I didn't get why I didn't get it. But as an adult, it changed. And I was like, oh, yeah, because that shit's petty.
I hear you.
Yeah, you know, just wasn't my MO. And, you know, pretty much other than that, it was just figuring things out on my own. Like my family wasn't like super involved in a lot of the stuff that I was doing in my life. So, you know, I kind of had to come to my own conclusions as to how things work and why they work and what I deem important. I was very much on my own until later in life, and I connected with other people like more towards high school and college. That's about it.
Okay. Hey, Smitty, thanks for coming. It has been a disaster start of a show, but you know what? I am not going to let it stop. I'm going to let it stop this show. I got some awesome guests tonight. We got a good show. So we're carrying over from last week about insecurities, but I'm coming hard at y'all tonight.
Okay.
What are your give me two of your most insecurities as an adult or as a child growing up?
Yeah. Oh, shit. One second. My check. Check. I check 1 second. Sheesh. My check. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool.
I need a drink now.
Insecurity as an adult now. Ooh. I actually got
Or
it.
when you were a child or teenager.
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy? The insecurities that I have back when I was a child is the exact same insecurities that I have now as an adult. And that is the insecurity. Now, I'm saying this facetiously now, sarcastically. The insecurity of being yourself. The only thing I've ever had like some stipulations with is getting people to recognize that you are who you are. You're just your own individual. You know? That's about it. The only thing I ever been scared of in any form of fashion is like, for example, I'm in that, like you at that hood party and you that nigga that's into anime, but you don't want to tell nobody that. You see what I'm saying? Or something like that. Like just little shit of being yourself. That's it. Other than that, I ain't never really gone through too much. I've always been, you know, attractive, likable, you know, all of that shit. So, you know, I don't really have too many problems in those areas. So I don't really identify, but I digress. My mic is muted. Respect.
I hear you. All right, so we're going to end it out with, I'm going to tell you guys what my insecurity was. The first one that I still deal with to this day is I was always a fat girl, but I was a pretty fat girl. And people used to always say, oh, you're so pretty, but you could stand to lose some weight. And then my other insecurity was my light skin and my long hair, because it was used against me. I would get jumped in school from the girls, and they would try to fight me. Oh, you think you're cute because of your light skin and your long hair. That messed with me a lot, because I was always fighting. Try not to, but it was inevitable. And the third thing was trying to always satisfy my dad. It never seemed to be enough. You know, if I would bring all A's, he would say, well, why not all A pluses? You know, if I scored 10 points in a basketball game, he was like, well, you didn't do better from the last game. So it never seemed enough for him. And the reason why I went around the panel to ask you guys about your insecurities, because it just goes to show, it don't matter what color you are, what walk of life you come from, what gender you are. Insecurities is a universal feeling. We all have them. It's how we deal with them that makes the difference. Insecurity is a feeling of uncertainty, lack of confidence, and anxiety of yourself. It's the anxiety you experience when you feel vulnerable and insecure. We all feel that way, people. But again, it's how we deal with them and how we allow them to affect us in our lives and with other people and relationships. Would you guys agree with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. So what I'm going to go down is I'm going to talk about the insecurities that most women have. And I think most men already know, and most women know. What really surprised me is when I went through the insecurities of what men have, because men don't tend to voice their insecurities like women do. It's a known fact. Men suffer in silence. They're not allowed to show emotions. They're not supposed to show emotions. So we're going to go quickly through the women because that's bullshit that we all know. No disrespect to my ladies out there, but most men know more than women know what women insecure. What I want to get to is the men's insecurities, so we can learn about men, and men can teach us. Because I definitely want my men to give us some input, what y'all go through, what women need to understand, what y'all go through. So for women, their top insecurities is, of course, body image. That's the number one insecurity. The thighs too big, ass, not enough ass, or their face is not pretty enough. We either like nothing about ourselves or we like parts of ourselves. Okay? Another thing with women, self-confidence, low self-esteem. They're insecure about themselves, causing them to walk around not feeling good about themselves. Gary, when you had a relationship and you realized that you were in a relationship with a person with insecurities, what made you pick up on that?
Oh, wow. When I was younger, in my early 20s, that's when I started, the relationship that I had when I was 22, I think it was. That's when I started to really get wind of, girls' insecurities and stuff like that. And it was, and I guess me being very logical, on one hand, I do understand why some women may have insecurities because maybe, you may say hi to a girl, and I think some of the guys may have even experienced this. A girl may say hi to you in school, and your girlfriend may be coming by, and she think you're talking to her, and she want to, give an attitude or something like that. So, I mean, there were a lot of really petty stuff that she would feel insecure about, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, if it was something serious, then I could understand, but if it's just, let's say, another female saying hi or asking me about my homework or something like that, you want to be insecure over that. I mean, so that's sort of my first experience if you will, with dealing with a girl that has insecurities.
Okay, that makes sense. What about you, Israel? When did you notice when you was dealing with somebody, oh, this person's insecure?
So it's two parts. The first part, absolutely, what he was saying, like when you're going through and you're dating or you're seeing young ladies, and then they see another woman and they're like, oh, I know you was looking at her. You're like, what? I'm not even thinking about. Oh, I know you want her. I know she wants you. And you're like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Right,
Like, I'm not even thinking about her. But then you notice that that's her own insecurity that make her think that every woman wants you, every woman wants to be with you, and that. But then beside that, you know, when they constantly are seeking, do you love me? You love me, right? You love me. Am I beautiful to you? Am I this to you? Am I that to you? What you think about this? What you think of, you know, I'm pretty, right? I'm pretty, right? In so many different words, right? And so it's like, no matter what you say or no matter how much you tell them, it's never enough. So those were the things.
That's called reassurance.
Yeah.
Some women need constant reassurance. But
when it's too much, isn't that more like validation, like seeking validation instead of just reassurance?
Absolutely. That's almost the exact same thing. But I think some women go overboard with that. Like, I would have to admit to you, I'm one of those. I'm not saying I need it 24/7, but you got to let me know once in a while that you thinking about me. I'm not saying every day. You got to drop me, you know, a good morning text.
Yeah, once in a while, you know, it's cool, but
let the nigga know something.
Yeah, once in a while is okay. What's going on, Braxton the Snake Fiend? What's good? Hey, once in a while is cool, but like too much is like too much.
It's draining. It's draining, and I get it. Intellectual, talk to me. When did you realize you were dealing with somebody insecure?
I would say every time, like, I would talk to a woman, they always gotta ask, who's that? Like, if it's just like every time, like just constantly, like, who's that? Who's that? Like, dang, like I do have a social life. Like, I'm there. Like, sometimes there's gonna be people that I talk to, some people I'm not gonna talk to or whatever for that long, like, or some people just business or whatever. So I think women gotta understand, like, the more you just chill, the better it is for you. Like, but if you always stressing about this woman or that woman or the next woman, then yeah, you're gonna look insecure, and then yeah, like that next woman may start looking appealing because you just keep stressing about it. Like, relax.
I hear you. Leanne, tell me, now we're getting a woman's perspective. When did you realize you were dealing with an insecure man?
When they get all twisted and jealous over everything and anything, or try and control everything I do. Same thing that men deal with. Men do it too. You know, they want the reassurance, like, oh, well, you know, what are you doing for me? And they want you to tell them how much you're into them all the time. I mean, I don't think that's a male or female thing. I think it just happens. And you know, people need to learn about the expectations and relationships, and everybody has different ways of feeling comfortable, and you know, that's just about learning about the other person, I think. But you know, I don't have any more patience for it than the men seem to here. It's like, you know, if I'm with you, I'm with you. That's all there is to it. There's no other explanation. And you know, my loyalty comes from me and not from the behaviors of everybody around me. So you know, it's kind of the same thing.
Okay, well, I have a question for you, Leanne.
What?
Can sometimes, as us women, confused insecurities from a man and accuse him of being controlling, where he's actually trying to be protective over us, and we perceive it as being insecure?
I mean, I think it depends on the man, because you know, we're all grown, or at least, you know, we were close to grown in the time frames that we're talking about. And any more than my behavior. Like I was never worried about the other person because, if they were looking at another woman and doing that, I wasn't the woman that was like, oh, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Because as far as I was concerned, if that's a direction you're going to go, that's on you. And it really has very little to do with me. So they didn't get grief from me like that, but I'd still get some of that going the other way because I wasn't getting jealous. I've had guys literally freak out at me because I didn't act jealous enough. And it's like, wait a minute, like I just didn't worry about it. Either you're going to give me your time and attention or you're not going to give me your time and attention.
But I don't really think that's the answer to the question. Like I really, I'm just meaning how you doing, Leanne, but I think you're not really answering the question that she's asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a really good question. And I was curious to you answering that specific question. Like a lot of times, would you, if men are saying certain things, a lot of women say, hey, that's insecure, or that's controlling. But is it possible that that's just men's protective nature and not so much insecurity or controlling?
And you're right, Israel. You picked up on it. That's why I asked that question. Smitty, I'm gonna get to you. I know you're ready to cook. I'm gonna give you an example because I had to learn that, Israel. Dating a gentleman, he knew I had to drive 50 miles to and from work. So he would ask me like, yo, what time are you leaving? I need you to call me when you get there or text me. When you get off work, I need you to call me and let me know that you're leaving. So at first I was like, wait a second, you want me to check in? He needs me to know where I'm at. He needs me. But you know what? It wasn't nothing like that. He was like, you're driving 50 miles. You're by yourself. I need to know if you're safe. I need to know what moves to make. I mean, we negotiated because I'm the type of person when I get off work, I need to go to the store, pull up, get me a drink, light up and relax. So I said, well, can I get at least a 15-minute window before I have to call you? Well, I said 45. I went high so we can meet in the middle. So he chose 20. We agreed to 20. He was like, I don't care who you got to talk to, who you got to call, but I know I better be that first phone call. And I had nothing but respect for the man because he genuinely was interested in my safety, whereas a lot of women would have looked at that as controlling. So that's why I asked that question, Israel, because I wanted to see on a woman's perspective. We tend to see men's protective nature as controlling and insecurity when that's what they're supposed to do. We're always screaming, provide and protect, provide and protect. So when they are protecting, now we're accusing them of being insecure and controlling. So that's why I brought that up. Okay, Smitty. Go ahead and cook, but not too long because we still got a long ways to go.
All right. I'm going to try my best to nutshell this. Salute to the brother Israel. You already know. Salute to my man's right. I forgot your name, brother. But both of y'all was saying on point shit, but you didn't really dig it. So let's rock out. So me with my mom C. What is a mom C? That's an acronym for the mother of my child. I don't do baby mamas because we have a great, great friendship. Thing is this. What I've noticed is, right? What you're talking about is the insecurities of women. And what I notice is that women find any interaction with another woman not good. I will never forget, I lost my job. I had a job opportunity. You wanna know why I didn't get the job? Because it was a woman that was conducting the interview, okay? And my mom, C, the mother of my child, would not allow that for some reason, okay? I almost went to jail and lost my case in court because my lawyer was a female and she was job bad She was nice. She was nice. Okay. Look, it was pro bono, and that's what happened. For some reason, I don't care if it's a female mechanic, I don't care what it is. If it's a female that is operating any form of interaction that you have to conduct, then they don't want you to do it. But wait, watch this. Then I didn't get the job, and she turned around 3 months later and like, you need to get a job because we need some money in the house. What are you talking about? I had a job. You didn't want nothing to go down because it was a female conducting the interview. Stop it. Okay? So we're not even gonna rock out with that. And the lady right here on this one. Leanne, I think, whatever. When men get mad when it comes to women hanging out and stuff like that, first of all, you need to remember, men, we love our space. We want you to get the fuck on somewhere sometimes. I swear on life. We love our space. We don't care about that shit. Listen, the only thing is this. What we care about is when you, like when we hit your phone later, and all we doing is making sure that you okay. And then you kind of hit us with this like, you in some kind of, surrounding with a bunch of niggas. No, see, we only feel some kind of way because when men, like for example, if me and you, we in a relationship to land it, we get into an argument, right? We get into an argument. Me as the man, I'm going to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going out. I'm chilling. You know what I'm going to do? You know what most men do? We go chill with our homies. We'll go maybe play some cards, drink some beers. We go chill and we'll just vent with our boys. Whole time you really thinking we out doing something crazy. Nah, man, no. I just wanted to get around my boys real quick and be like, bruh, I got too much estrogen going on. I need to go ahead and just, kind of digress from that, right? Women, you all generally go chill with that nigga you got in your phone that's been in the friends list. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. So it's a difference between when I go off and chill and when you go off and chill. Our mindset is totally different. Your mindset is on, I know this nigga's doing something. Whole time I'm not.
Can I address one of Smitty's points before we move on?
I digress. My mic is muted, man. Go ahead and rock out, but no. We're gonna rock out tonight. I'm just getting started. Don't play with me.
Hey, Smitty, real quick, just real fast. You're funny. Yo, I just wanted to say, that's why you cannot allow a woman to lead you as a man. And I know that might not be a popular statement, but that's the absolute daggone truth because
it's popular over here.
Yeah, you cannot allow a woman to dictate whatever you do, regardless if it's a bad, fine woman that's the boss, whatever the case may be. If that's the job that you need to have as a man, you go and get that damn job, regardless to what the woman says. You just, carry yourself accordingly and do the right thing. But you should always follow your course of action because best believe at the end of the day, when everything falls apart, it's all going to be on you anyway. It's going to be your fault.
Facts. Because at the end of the day,
so as a man, I'm gonna go when I'm celebrating.
My bad, brother. Go ahead, rock out. No, you're right, Israel. We the captain of the ship, and if anything goes wrong, they don't ask the women, they don't ask the children. If my child goes to school looking messed up and she dirty, they're not going to be like, what's wrong with you, Phoenix? They're going to call home and be like, hey, what's going on, mom and dad? Facts.
But at the end of the day, as a man, I'm gonna go where I'm celebrated. Like, if you're not acting right, don't worry about if I'm going to see something else. Or I'm going to hang with my boys, like, you're not acting in your position. If you're acting out of position, I'm going to do whatever I want to do to make sure I'm good. Like, because you're not making sure I'm good. So if we can't work together, then don't get mad if I go do me. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to do me. And I'm going to figure out, maybe I'm going to make some money. Maybe I'm going to make some whatever I want to make. But I'm a grown man at the end of the day. I decide what I want to do.
Are you still in a situation with the shorty or have you let her go?
No, I'm just saying overall.
No, I'm asking you, are you in?
That's my thought process overall.
And meaning in your example, right? Would you still be in a situation with the shorty or would you let her go?
It depends, though. It depends. Maybe we could work it out later on. But in that moment, I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me. Like that's just what it is.
I ain't gonna lie, that don't really make sense. That ain't really the proper way to go. Just saying, like, if you feel that way and you feel that strongly about it, you need to let her go and let her go about her way. But if you're gonna do you, then you need to be real and say you're gonna do you, and then that be that. You don't need to hold her hostage or hold her to a situation and you out doing you and she don't know what the hell going on. I just believe in playing the game fair. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you, bro. But at the end of the day, like, if we ain't rocking, we ain't getting along, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. That's how I've always been, and I'm not changing that. Like for nobody, literally. But go ahead, whoever was talking, I don't know.
Leanne, hold that thought. Let me introduce my two other new panelists. Miss O'Shawn, how you doing this evening?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
I'm good. Thank you for coming, my dear.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. I just started listening, so I don't know the whole backstory.
Well, real quick, let me give you a recap. Last week we talked about insecurities, the effects, what the possible side of signs of insecurities. But today we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of what are women's insecurities and men's insecurities and what we can do to understand them to have better, healthier, and secure relationships. So real quick, what was a couple insecurities that you had growing up or even now as an adult?
When I was younger, a big insecurity with me was generally how I was built, how I looked. I have always suffered from the curse of youthfulness, meaning that when I was around between 15 and 18, most people couldn't tell I was beyond 14 or maybe 15. And I was moving into spaces where women were in their full bloom, and I looked at like I could have been in the 9th grade. And people always say, well, you're pretty, but people always say, how old are you? And that I got that up until I was like maybe 24, 25. And so I always would look at other girls that were, 18, 19, 20, had everything, all of the bricks, as my dad would say. And I would feel a certain kind of way because I guess I wasn't there. I was still growing, and I knew at some point my growth had stopped because I'm a very small person in general. So that was an insecurity for me, and I had to work through that even through my 30s, honestly. But that was something that stuck from teenage years all the way up until, like mid-30s, until I started coming into myself, in which I started realizing, there's nothing wrong with me looking the way I look, mainly because I started seeing my high school classmates and all that weight they had in all the right areas now looks crazy. And people still say, oh my God, you look like we did in middle school. Oh my God, you're still small. And now the tables have turned a little bit, so I kind of got over my insecurity. But that was something that I had a big insecurity about.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to prove that all of us, it's a universal feeling. Simon, welcome to the show.
Yo, what's up?
Thank you for coming. So real quick, I know you was here last week, so you kind of know what we're touching on. So what were a couple of your insecurities growing up, or what you might be going through now as an adult?
I guess I don't have many insecurities, but one of my only insecurities was dealing with other races. Because I grew up in a predominantly white country, so just understanding and navigating that system, seeing what people that look like me went through, and understanding if I could actually survive, because a lot of the people that I walked with and grew up with and went to school with didn't survive past a certain type of age. So I was thinking, am I going to live till XYZ? And you'll see things on TV or hear stuff on the radio, and the road I took was to go down the music avenue. I was thinking that's even a worse choice than I could, but it was the only choice because that's just who I grew up around. Like my mum was a musician, so it wasn't like I was trying to be a musician. I was just born into that family. But I was just thinking, I think my insecurity was, am I actually going to make it past 25? You know, because we saw most of these guys that didn't. Apart from that, everything was coolio, man.
Okay. So let's keep going through the insecurities of women. Women,
can I
it's
answer
difficult
their
for them to
responses
trust
first?
people,
Okay.
overly jealous of a man's platonic relationships with another woman. Again, requires constant reassurance. She's a perfectionist. She puts herself down a lot, constantly having emotional outbursts, constantly criticizing other women, always plays victim, sensitive to body image triggers. She takes people to a whole nother level unnecessarily, always comparing herself to her ex or other women, always seeking attention, a control freak, a hard time accepting other people's success, and overly self-critical. With everything I just said, men, can you put together a person that had these insecurities and now it kind of makes sense? This had nothing to do with you. It's all them. And they just haven't taken accountability for their insecurities. Smitty, what would you have to say about that?
In what aspect? I just got back from
As
the
far as
bathroom.
these characteristics that I said about women having insecurities,
Right.
have you seen these characteristics often in women?
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy? What's crazy is, all right, so before the whole body positivity movement and everything, I'm talking about pre that. I've always noticed that what us as men would consider the most attractive women are the most insecure. I mean, you just be looking at them like you just have no idea. You are so gorgeous. And I mean, they will find every reason in the world to call themselves ugly, or my nose is too big, my ears are shaped wrong, or whatever it is. So the fact is that what I've noticed is that because of the standards that women put on other women, not men. Men are very simple. Women put these standards on women. A lot of the insecurities that come from women honestly come from other women, not men. Somehow or another, we got trapped in that fish net when you crabbing, and somehow or another, a dolphin came up on the boat. But what I'm saying is, focus, right? Somehow or another, we got trapped into the whole thing of women are insecure because of men. No. Men continuously tell women, we do not like the eyelashes. We like your natural hair. I don't care if it's short. I want to see your face and everything else. But for some reason, they will not listen to what the actual sex and species that they want to attract. They listen to their homegirls. They listen to cis in it. Yet cis in them got them all effed up in the game. You see what I'm saying? So now, here it is. We got a whole bunch of women running around talking about where are the good men at? Why is it that I'm not accepted? I got to do all of this. No, you don't, boo-boo. No, you don't. The fact is, you think you have to do all of that because you keep on listening to love and hip hop. You keep on listening to reality shows. You keep on listening to the latest rap songs and hip hop songs and R&B out. And so for some reason now, all of a sudden, you don't get it. We don't really care for all of that. We just want you to respect our peace.
But it's deeper. It's deeper than that. I'm gonna let Leanne go because she's been trying to go, and I would like to go after Leanne. But Smitty is deeper than that. I want to address what Smitty said, but I know Leanne has been trying to go.
Go ahead, Leanne.
Okay, so I find it interesting that you You done, Smitty? I said, I find it interesting that you guys took a hard left from what I said. At no point did I say all men are insecure and doing this stuff. I gave examples, which is what I was asked, as to what are the things as far as women and what women feel it's insecure. And because I don't run the direction of all these things that you're describing, I don't berate a man and ask him where he's going. Every woman he's talking to, I don't trip over. I have my own security in terms of those kinds of interactions, yet somehow the conversation just went totally the other direction, where how women do this and women do that. And how is it always like we're supposed to be having an open dialogue about what legitimate insecurities are from men and from women, and we can't seem to land there. It always has to be where the women's insecurities are the essential problem between the relationships. And it does exist on both sides of the fence. There are men that have their insecurities of what's going on. And we have to steer from this like man show, that there's a lot of examples of the man show that's going on, and they're on numerous channels. While I appreciate that conversation that's happening for the purpose of what it's having, I don't think that's the purpose of what's going on right now. And, you know, not every woman's tripping and doing those things and freaking out and worried about where everybody is. And it's not a matter of, I can give a courtesy phone call, but I don't expect the pendulum to swing all the way the other direction. I don't need to be tracked. I don't need to be doing it. I can have a grown-up conversation with my partner and out of respect, let them know where I'm at. If I got a 50-minute drive or I'm going out of town, I'm going to, hey, I've landed my plane. This is where we're going. Hey, this is a delay. I'm going to communicate those things so nobody's wondering where I'm at. But I expect the same respect if I'm working in a shop and I got a bunch of men. And, you know, at one point during COVID, I worked as a courier and ran the company and came up and had men all in the warehouse. I had men everywhere. I don't need to hear that drama any more than that. I'm just as professional as the next guy that's around me. So, like, you know, we gotta keep it between the lines here, folks.
It's not even. Well, can I say this? I want to address some of these comments first.
No, please, hey, Israel, please, real quick. I swear on life, rock out, brother. Hey, let me just say this, love.
Smitty,
you are one of the most dangerous type. No, real quick. Let me say this. No, seriously, because the thing is this. I find it fascinating how women continuously, when it don't apply, for some reason they feel like they got a cape. If you are not one of those women in which I am talking about, because first of all, the whole conversation is talking about the insecurities. Look at the title again. Okay, so we are addressing the host, what the title is. We may kind of swing around a little bit, but that is what the subject of the title is, right? So now, I find it fascinating how continuously women like yourself will always keep on saying, you know what? No, that's not me. Whole time, who said you? Who said anybody like you? If the shoe don't fit, then you must have quit. I don't understand why y'all keep on feeling like you gotta say something when it don't apply to you.
Because you said,
okay, let's move, guys. Let's move on to Israel, because he did ask to speak after Leanne.
Yeah. Really, before Leanne, but I wanted to let her say her piece. But let me say this: hey, Smitty, really is deeper than that. First, and then I want to address Leanne. I'm buy my time. Listen, so it's deeper than that. The thing of it is advertisers, people who run industry, they prey on women's insecurities. And so these advertisers, these companies, these people who run industry are 9 times out of 10 men. So because these men prey on women's insecurities to make big bank, to have these women thinking they have to be a certain shape, they have to be a certain color, they have to wear a certain lipstick, they have to wear a certain pair of clothes, a certain pair of heels, a certain this, a certain that. Ultimately, it is men who shape and mold the women and the society. Now, I agree with you to the point where you said, well, they're girlfriends and stuff.
Israel, we going back and forth. I'm going to respond, bro.
Hold on,
dead ass wrong.
Hold on, Smitty. Let him finish.
Point first? Can I finish my point first? Yo, can I finish my point?
Go ahead.
The point is that, yes, I agree with you that girlfriends and stuff like that do have an influence. But what I'm saying is before that, women are the number one consumers of products and services. And because of that, the men who run the companies and run advertisement agencies prey on that. And so those are men. Now, to Leanne's point, real quick, Smitty made me lose it. Go ahead, Smitty. You got it. You made me lose my point about Leanne's point. Oh, I guess what I wanted to say is to tie that into the advertisements. Leanne, you do realize that your man working at a job is not equivalent to you being at a factory with a whole bunch of men, right? You do realize as a woman around all men, there is a threat of danger somewhere in there, and it could be possible that someone could take advantage of you, whereas vice versa tend to not happen. That's all I wanted to say.
Come on. Sister, do you want to respond first? Ladies first.
Yeah, really quick.
Go ahead.
I ran the company, and I was there because of work. And there was nothing. It wasn't about that. The particular person that was acting all sketchy was sketchy on his end, but that's neither here nor there. My point is that it's not just advertising. I've seen a whole bunch of panels where I've seen your face and a couple other people's faces and sat back and just listened. And there's a lot of criticism about women, all different types, shapes, sizes, and what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing and what's appropriate and what men find acceptable and what they don't find acceptable. You think that doesn't create pressure on women who are listening or hearing it?
It's intended for that purpose. To be honest,
I know, but
because the direction
but it can't all be one direction.
Women, no, but the problem
we're not going one direction. We're getting to the men.
Yeah, real quick, Embrace. The problem is especially in our community and the Black community, since forever, since the 60s going into the 70s, women have had a voice, and their voice has been loud and their voice has been strong. So now when you go, hold on real quick. When you go to Black men, we have not really had a voice, and our voice is just really starting to be heard for the last 10, maybe 12 years. And so with that, yes, we are talking to specific groups of women a lot of times, and we're trying to get them to get back in order and to get themselves in a place where we can start building families and communities. So it is intentional, us saying what they should do and what they shouldn't do. If you're talking about,
I just think you might get a little further having conversations with them instead of at them.
Leanne, we're past that. They've been trying to do that for years, and they're still not listening, and we're still fucked up and lost in the sauce. So now they're getting strong on 10 toes. They have been trying to talk to us, but most of us refuse to listen, and then walk around, men ain't shit. Where are the good men at? When they are trying to talk to us, Leanne, and we're just not listening because we think we know more about men. And Smitty dropped this gem on me.
Somebody coming at you and he's saying men ain't shit, then let them walk away.
The host is talking. The host is talking, Leanne. The host is talking, Leanne.
Oh, you are hardly one to talk, sir.
I know. But the host is talking, Leanne. There you go. There you go.
Don't you love it?
I like that.
I have a question for the panel.
Go ahead.
Does every female deserve the title?
Yeah, go ahead. Izzy,
Does every female deserve the title of woman? Does every female deserve that title?
Of woman or lady?
Does every man deserve the title?
Woman or lady? Which one? What do you mean? Every woman is a
woman. Does every female deserve the title of a woman, of a real woman? Right?
Woman.
Right? Do they all deserve that title?
No,
yeah, they do.
You have to show yourself accordingly.
No.
Woman or lady? I thought lady. Wait, I thought lady and woman was two different distinctions. I think
You
every
said
female.
woman. I didn't hear
Yeah.
lady or
No,
anything.
no,
I
no, no,
heard
no, no, no,
woman.
no, no, no. Lady and woman is not. No, a lady. Like if you conduct yourself as a lady and you conduct yourself as a woman, that is in the same correlation. Just as if you conduct yourself as a
Look at red
slut
lipstick.
and you conduct yourself as a hoe.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
that's
Wait,
you know,
I would
No,
like
but
to
wait,
how
say
they
that.
went
hold on.
correlation.
Wait, it's
Yeah,
getting
this went
conflated.
left real
What I'm saying, hold on real quick. What I'm saying is that every female is a woman, but every female is not a lady. Every woman
Yep.
is not a lady. That's the distinction. The distinction between a lady
but
and
listen
being
to
a
the
woman.
key words you
That
said.
wasn't the
You
question.
said female. No, wait.
That's not the question.
Israel.
I know
Go ahead.
what he said, but that's what I'm saying. I think the question is flawed. Yes, I think every
Yo,
female is a,
intellectual soapbox. What
no,
did
hold
you
on.
say? You said
Every woman,
right?
every
Now
female,
you're talking about hoes,
every
ladies,
older
all this
female is a woman. Yes, I don't think every female is a lady. So I think female and
You
woman.
keep
if you're
saying
older,
female. Female means specifically
Listen.
the reproduction organs.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
what
wow,
he
wow.
asked.
So
That's the
when you
question
say
that he
lady
asked.
and woman, that then puts them in a category. Israel, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying. You keep
he
saying
said
that with
was
female. You got to take female out.
Grace,
I'm
we
with
need
you,
to
bro.
talk.
I'm listening.
He said woman. Is every woman
You
deserves
can't
the
say
title of a
female
woman?
with it.
He said, the brother asked, does every female deserve the title of woman? That's what
No.
he literally asked. That's what he literally asked.
No.
Yes.
They don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, they do, because that's biological. Yes,
Ask
they
the
do.
question again.
What?
Please.
Okay.
That's biological. Yes, they do.
The question was, does every female deserve the title of a woman? Now, the basis of my question was
the
this.
title of a woman.
That's what
Okay,
I
my
said.
bad.
Yes, so see, you
No,
got
I
it.
thought you
So
said
hold on, hold on.
protection.
No, I know
Protection.
what he said. No, not
Hold on. The
protection,
basis,
title
the
of
Okay.
basis, the base of my question was this. The reason why I asked that question is this: is that as a man, right? Don't society, women and men both make you earn a title of being a man, right?
That is correct.
You are always asked to earn that title.
That is
So why
correct.
don't we make females earn the title of being a woman?
Because they have to earn. Wait,
I'm right there
their-
with you.
wait, hold on. Their equivalent is earning the title of lady. See, a female and a woman is congruent. It's the same thing. But the lady part is like our part of being a male versus a man.
But
A
what you're
man-
not realizing, Israel, is that they
You missing
skip
the-
all of that and go straight to fucking queen and empress
Okay,
and
but
goddess.
but that's a whole different thing. Why you skipping?
Yeah,
Come on, Smitty.
boy.
You
No,
conflating
no,
the-
listen to what
Smitty,
I'm
you
saying.
conflating the
We
point.
have to get our ladies, listen, no, what I'm saying actually has validity. We have to get the women to actually get back to the point where they are like, you know what, because you know what? I remember my elder said that to me, hey, King. He said, no, hold on. Hey, Smith, why don't you just focus on being a good man first? Why don't you focus on harnessing what manhood is
That's what a
before you
lady
even
is.
start talking about kingship?
That's
Do you
what a
see what I'm
lady is.
saying?
I hear
So
you.
that's
what a
all I'm
lady
saying
is.
with the women. I'm with you. I'm not
They're
disagreeing.
automatically women. They're
We
automatically.
gotta get them to just look at themselves as ladies.
That's what
Bruh,
I'm saying.
they are in a
Okay.
mind state of I am the goddess of the world.
You're not even looking at the question, bro. Like this
He
sounds
said,
like
does
no,
every
not you.
I put
female
the question up.
deserve the title of woman.
No,
every
but it
female is
sounds
a
like
woman.
okay, but it sounds like that there's a lot of platforms where there's like a
Is this who the fuck I
male
think it is? Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
Yo, don't be
Excuse
rude to
me.
me. I ain't being rude to you.
Hold
I
on.
ain't
hold
Be
on.
nice, Smitty.
Ladies
We
and
already
gentlemen.
done this, okay? I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of platforms where there are females on, and then they'll switch it up, and men go,
Yeah,
oh,
that's blue shirt.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. But yeah, I just think it's a question that probably females are better at like answering. So Sean, I don't know, Leanne, maybe they could have a better perspective because they don't want to bring it back to the men. It's about the females. That's a conversation right now in that question.
No. Start over. Make your point again. I want to listen to this. Make your point again. Go ahead.
Yo, Smee, don't start me, bro.
No. Stop.
You guys
We're talking as men.
behave
I'm not.
today.
No, I'm not. Grace, I'm not. Intellect. I love to learn.
Hey, yo,
Teach me again, brother. Go
okay,
ahead.
real quick.
We can go back to that. We could go back to that. I just think we just carry on with the
Hold on, real
conversation.
quick. The definition of woman is an adult female human being. And so
Thank
what
you.
I'm saying, hold on. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is an adult female is automatically a woman. However, her behavior makes her a lady or not a lady, and that's
no.
Hold on, real quick.
Hey, Israel, look up the word semantics.
Hold on,
after you done. Look up semantics when you done. Thank you.
Hold on, real quick. It's not semantics. Fam, if he's asking a question about how males have to earn the title of being men, then you have to understand that women, females, right, are women. That's just what they are, but they have to earn the title of being a lady. That's their actions make them a lady. So they don't have to earn being women.
There's no disagreement there.
They don't have to earn being women. They have to earn being ladies. So that's his question. Hold on, Simon. Hold on, real quick. I'm bringing it home. His question is flawed because he's asking, do we feel like women need to earn the title, that females need to earn the title of women? And what I'm saying is no, they don't, because they're automatically women. If they're of a certain age, they have to earn the title of lady.
Of a lady. You're either a hood rat, or you're a lady, or you're a queen. You have to prove yourself for which levels that particular woman is.
Can I say something to that?
No, you can't right now. Hold on.
No. When you're done. No, you got it. No, chill out. You got it.
No, don't tell me to chill out. We need to understand how to take turns here, sir. And you are the worst at it. And I can't hear what Israel is trying to say, and I will respectfully listen to what you have to say. But you need to learn to respectfully listen to others, because I can't hear half of what was just said in the last 15 minutes.
Wasting a lot of time. You could be saying your point.
Says the pot. Thank you very much. Calm down. This is the thing.
Yeah, just go ahead and catch up a cash after the channel.
We need to keep an eye on the prize here and remember the point and the purpose of this conversation, because there's a whole bunch of baggage being thrown around here, if you ask me. And regardless of who decides what, what are we reconstructing society here and deciding, who's in charge? We got to remember who has been in charge and who has made the definitions up until the last 15 years, and maybe conclude the fact that some of us might all be on the same side here, but maybe that's too much of a suggestion. But
I mean, kinda. I mean, you did all that demanding the floor just not to say a motherfucking thing. Thank you, though. But listen, right? See, the fact is this, right? When we go ahead and we look at the situation that's taking place, see, the fact is that a lot of women, they don't seem to realize that this is what's taking place. Women don't want to seem to listen to men. Look, the insecurities, everything we talking about. When we talking about the insecurities of men, what are the insecurities of men? These men are the men that really feel like they got to go overseas because for some reason they can't get nothing right here where they are.
We are not talking about damn relationships, sir. We are talking.
I'm talking
about
right now. I gave you the floor. No. Don't tell me I cut people off and you do the same shit. No, don't throw rocks and hide your hands now.
A woman like that, bro. What's up with you?
Who the fuck is talking without me seeing your face?
Come on now. Can we stay focused?
And I can't see your face. Show your face if you're going to say some shit out to me.
Don't talk to me like that either.
Have a little time out.
I wouldn't say that shit either.
I'll put my face on
the
Everybody hit the joint.
You are not happy.
Everybody.
You are not happy. Happy, not happy.
Anyway, we're not going to do with these deflections. Listen, I'm speaking directly to the fact of, the fact is this. We're not going to do the whole simple shit of men don't really, bruh, cut the immature shit. We having a discussion. You can have your turn when I'm done talking, bro. I'm not going I'm not going to do the goofy shit when you talking.
Hold on a second.
You're talking goofy shit because you don't even know.
Hey, bro. All right, look, Grace, you got it. I'm not even going to
check your Cash App. I put something in
there. Thank you, because somebody got to get something out of this.
Grace, can we establish some decorum that you would like to have on your channel? Because it's not happening.
The thing is, guys, we all have valid things to say, but we gotta allow a person to speak.
Respect.
And if we made an order of the person to speak, we got to stick to that order. I don't want to hear, oh wait, hold on one quick second. No, let's stick to the topic at hand. Let's stick to the order at hand, and let's be respectful. With that being said, y'all making me drink in this motherfucker tonight. So with that being said, let's go continue, because we are going to move on to the men. But what causes a woman to be insecure? Low self-esteem. Women have tended to suffer from low self-esteem more than men, largely due to long-standing gender stereotypes and society expectations. So right there it says that women tend to be more insecure than men, because men are the ones that built this infrastructure. We're the consumers.
That's easy for you to say.
Infrastructure. She said infrastructure.
It's already starting.
Drinking that drink that started earlier, huh, Grace?
She only had 2 sips, you guys.
That no, she was sipping before. You didn't see that bottle. She was sipping before.
Let's go.
It was a rough start too.
Salute.
This lack of self-assurance can lead to insecurity, causing women to experience dread, fear, discomfort in social and personal situations. It creates a mindset where individuals do not behave in their capabilities, talents, and leading to diminished self-confidence. We got a lot of women out here who are toxic, fucked up, traumatized, and expect a man to unpack their bullshit and clean up their mess. And that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Gary, you've been quiet, my co-host. What do you have to say, my dear? While I take another sip.
Oh shit.
It's just interesting hearing what's going on there. I mean,
One of them days.
You know, I'm just one of those that I just sit back and listen, and it's just quite interesting.
Chicken.
But what I will say, no, it ain't about being chicken. What I will say is that I do agree with the point of what society has done. I mean, in terms of Madison Avenue and marketing, because you know that's one of the things I've been involved with. So it's definitely images is definitely images that are put out there for women, and unfortunately, you know, they try to make it one size fits all, right? And clearly that's not the reality, because women have different body sizes, different body shapes. But according to Madison Avenue, they want you to be 6'1" and like 130 pounds. That doesn't work, right? So, but clearly that has made, pushing that type of image has made a lot of women and a lot of young girls insecure. You know, a lot of them have, starved themselves and committed suicide. So this is serious shit here, right? This is definitely, this is something serious here. Then to the point of a woman and a lady. Look, every woman is not a lady, you know. So to me, and what I've seen and dealt with is that a lady, that's class, right? That's elegance. That's a certain type of behavior, right? A woman, any female can be a woman once she gets to a certain age, but when you're a lady, that's a step up, right? So I just want to say that, and I think that's about it. So Grace, yeah, you could go ahead and I guess finish up your list.
Yeah, let's go over to the men.
Wait, for
Go
the
ahead,
record,
Israel.
For the record, he agrees with me wholeheartedly then, because that's all.
I agree too.
I do, bro. Listen. You said a lot of valid stuff, which I totally agree with you. I don't disagree with nothing that you said.
No
You said a
doubt.
lot.
No. Hold on. Am I allowed to go ahead and get my piece in?
Bro,
Yes, go ahead, Smitty.
All the time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it again. Thank you, Gary.
Hold on.
Appreciate you.
Hold on.
Hey, Smitty be so quiet in the chat, but he live on the panel. Shout out to Smitty. You Smitty from Smitty's Corner, right? Smitty's
Yo,
all
support
day.
the channel.
Shout out to
day.
Smitty's Corner. Shout
All
out to
day.
Smitty's
Drop
Corner.
a cash app for my boy Smitty.
Shout
Nah,
out to
so
Smitty's
listen,
Corner.
right? What I'm saying is this. What I've noticed is that, look, the fact is, men, for some reason, as boys, all right? Like, when y'all talking about womanhood, the fact is that, like, men, we can get to a certain age, and if we don't act that certain age, society does not consider us men. So how we gonna sit up here and talk about just because you have a vagina, you're a woman? No, you're a girl.
No, wait,
See,
wait.
no. What I'm saying is no, slow down. Give me a second, and then y'all can rebuttal. Let me get it all out. What I'm saying specifically is we have a certain standard that is put on us as men. Now, me personally, I do agree with the whole dynamic of men should have a higher standard because we are supposed to be the leaders and providers and protectors. So I believe naturally we're supposed to, but unfortunately, society says that everything is equal. So, okay, fine. Then let's play on that field. Everything is equal, right? So fine. If that's the fact, then when men become, when boys transition and we have to do certain things to initiate ourselves into manhood, we do. From ancient days all the way to now, men have always had to initiate some form of fashion, whether it's changing a tire, shooting a gun and hitting your target, whatever it may be. We have always had to initiate our manhood. What is the initiation of womanhood? Besides, I take trips and I got niggas flying me out. What is it? I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Okay, Israel goes and then Miss O'Shane's going, okay?
All right, real quick. I just wanted to address you, Smitty. Smitty, we're basically saying the same thing. I think you kind of getting caught off a little bit. Just hear me out. What we are saying is that the original question was, what do females have to do, or do females just because she's a female, should she be considered a woman, basically? And what we're saying is that, yes, females are women. They're equivalent of these things that they have to
and
do.
I don't agree. I get you.
Fam, you're not even here. Yo, I listened to you say this whole crazy ass soliloquy, and I ain't say not one word.
You ain't gotta go that far, bro.
All right. So you
Keep
cutting
going.
me off. You cutting me off and not letting me finish.
Keep going, bro. You ain't gotta go that far.
Okay, well, hold on then. Listen.
Smitty.
What I'm telling you is this, fam. A woman's initiation is becoming a lady. That's the same thing as our initiation from being a male to a man.
I asked the question, what is the initiation, bro? I heard you. Don't tell me I'm cutting off. Don't tell me I'm saying it's a little
Smitty.
Don't do that.
Damn, I let you rock the whole time. I didn't say not one word.
Oh my God.
You cut me off. I can't get 3 words out and you keep talking over me. That's mad disrespect.
Bruh, no, it's not. You do it all the time. I watch you, my nigga. You say all the time, no, I'm gonna cut you off if you're not addressing it right. You say it all the time. You say it all the time. I'm gonna cut you off if you're not addressing it right. I hear you, my nigga. I'm cutting you off because you're not addressing what I'm saying correct.
Okay, when I'm
address it correct. No. Women step out of it. Men are talking.
Hold on. What I'm telling you is this. Hold on real quick. What I'm telling him is this. What I'm trying to tell you is this. First of all, the premise has to be right. The premise is that a woman becomes a lady. That's the initiation. So you're asking, what is that? And so what I'm saying is, it's through her behavior. It's through her having grace. It's through her showing submission. It's through her being able to be cooperative to her man. It's through her being a lady of elegance, being a lady.
You're naming everything after the fact of her being initiated.
You're not letting me,
You're naming the post, not the pre. I heard you.
Bro, again,
keep going. Nah, nigga, don't get mad.
Listen,
keep going.
Keep going.
Let him talk. It's not a genuine conversation.
Don't y'all cap for nothing. Let that man talk for himself. Everybody shut up.
You're not letting me talk. This is not a genuine conversation, so I'm good.
I don't know what you're saying.
It's not
everything that you just named is after. No, real quick. Everything you named is after. What you said is when she becomes a good woman and all of this. No, bro. Before that, how does that man see that in the prequel? How?
So now you're changing it to see, bro. I don't know if you realize this, but you have just
that's what I asked from the initiation.
I don't know if
can we move on, please?
Oh my gosh, Israel, you're not gonna pull this, bro. I'm right there with you.
Oh Lord,
you went all around the course.
No, we didn't. Israel is
Miss
very
O'Shawn has been waiting to speak.
Go ahead.
We have her speak, please? Go ahead, my dear.
Thank you.
Thanks, Embrace. I want to say this, and I don't want to go back too far because I know we're supposed to be going forward in the conversation. But when the question was asked about female, woman, lady, from my background, all these words have completely different meanings than how they were used in the sentences on both sides of the argument that I listened to. And so although I could come outside of my own perspective and understand what everyone was saying in terms of their definition, I still had to literally come outside of my own definition of where my mind goes when those words are being used to understand, well, what someone else is talking about. However, we're talking about a unified culture to which all of us can't have a different definition of a word, but yet we're talking about initiations. It just doesn't work. In the most, let's say, the older cultures in the world that don't have too much access to, let's say, technology or the West, initiations are things that are completed like rites or rituals that women do not indulge in, that men do, and vice versa. And that's very clear, and that's how they define women versus men. However, in more recent days or times in the West or the Western countries, there's a lot of cultures that are melted together, and most of them are not indigenous cultures, okay? And there is no initiation rituals that any particular side has to do in order to go to the next step, meaning they don't have a choice. Like we don't really have that because we have so many cultures here and different religions and so on and so forth. So now it seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like we're at a point in the conversation where we're saying, well, there's a natural initiation that men and women go through to, get to the next step in their maturity. However, we're still at the point where we're explaining things that people have a choice in doing. It's not anything natural about it. It's like people can choose or not choose. And and here's the thing, there's no enforcement on that either. It's not like after a certain time, there's an enforcement on that. If you as a woman don't want to have children and let your body exercise its full maturity, you have that right. No one's gonna come down on you. You're not gonna get put out of society. You will still eat and sleep like normal. If you are a man and do not want to move outside of your parents' house, you can choose to do that, and you're not going to get ostracized. You still will become educated. You're not going to get denied employment because you don't want to move ahead in society as a man for what that's worth. So I'll be honest with you, I understand the points being made because theoretically, I think both sides or everyone is correct. There should be initiations to the next step because that's how we build character and things like that. However, in reality, that's not what we're dealing with. And I mean, we all kind of have to be okay with that and just find people that are alikes that kind of see life the way we do. But I'll be honest with you, that's far and few in between. And to a degree, I don't tend to really get into things that only affect upwards of 5% of the population. I just don't let my mind be consumed with it.
But can I say this?
Yeah.
Can I say this real quick? Yo, we got way off the point because the original question was, does every female deserve the title of woman? And my whole point, the only point that I was making is a female and a woman is the same thing. A woman is a female at a certain age. That's what it literally means in the dictionary. It says woman, an adult female human being. So that's literally what a female is, right? A woman is an adult female at a certain age. So that's a woman. So that's not a title. Yes. So the answer to that question was yes. And so I went further to say the equivalent is, do females or do women deserve to be called ladies? Every female, every woman, which is the same thing, does not deserve to be called a lady. And that was the only point that I was making. Yes, women and female at a certain age is synonymous. It's the same daggone thing. That's the only point I was making.
Okay. Well,
So we got way off the point. It was, does every female deserve the title of woman? And that's why I was clarifying.
Can I just equate that for a second?
Simon, before you jump back in, let me respond to what he said, because I really wasn't my statement wasn't in response to anything he said, but he makes a good point. You said that a woman has to prove she's a lady, right? And I can agree with that, but also two things can be true at the same time. Someone who is not fully an adult male can always see any type of female or woman, however you want to define that, as a lady, and he has a right to choose her as a lady in his vision of what that is. So therefore, if every man's vision of a lady is different and there's no synonymous definition to that, now we're in deeper, as they say, SHIT than we were when we were talking about the issue of definitions. So my thing is, you're right. Everyone does have to get to a certain maturity level. However, when you say who doesn't or does deserve that title, now we back at square one. Everybody gets that title, because there's always going to be someone to see the next person as whatever that is, whether it's right or wrong.
Sister, that's incorrect.
Can I just
Sister Oshun, hold on real quick, Simon. Hold on real quick. We're having a dialogue. Sister Oshun, that's incorrect, because it says a woman of superior social position, especially one of noble birth. So, but a woman of superior, so in modern society, that was the old school definition, right? But in modern society, a lady is one who conducts herself with elegance, one who conducts herself with grace, one who is submissive, one who is of high esteem. That's what a lady is. So yes, if she is those things and of high esteem, yes, to every man that's going to be different, but the definition still remains the same, and the definition is universal.
Well, I'll say this: elegance and grace and the characteristics you just named, right, is not the same culture to culture, region to region, race to race. It's subset to subset. So my point is, every woman has been deemed a literal lady in some way, shape, form, or fashion by some man. And the problem is, it goes back to
even Glorilla.
Hold on, and it goes back to what Smitty said. There's females that have been glorified as ladies by some man in the society based on their or his definition of elegance and grace and all those things you just said.
Wait, even that's Megan the male horse, even Glorilla?
I was trying to.
Okay, hold on, Simon. Okay, because I'm not going to berate this point for so long. I don't like going more than 3 rounds. Here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing with you, Israel. What I'm saying is, what you're saying is true, but also there's another truth alongside that, which goes to Smitty's point, which is, yes, there's women out here like Glorilla that is being told, you such a lady, even with all the tattoos and all the attitude and all the hair and the lashes and the nails and all of that. They're being told that they're a lady. Why? Because every man in this society, in modern day times, as you stated, has a right to call any kind of woman a lady, and there is no ramifications for a man calling a 304 a lady versus someone who has been chaste their whole life. There's no
But does
ramifications
that make it?
for
Wait.
anyone. Hold on, because I'm gonna stop here. There's no ramifications for mixing up the two. So therefore, people do what people do, which is what we're talking about. This back and forth stuff right here. So all I'm saying is you're correct, but he's also correct in another degree. That's all.
Does that make it? But it's because people call. Listen, if you pee in my cornflakes and call it milk, does it make it milk?
Oh, it is, man.
I'm just asking. If you pee in my cornflakes and you tell me it's milk, does it make it milk? It doesn't. So the truth of the matter is, just because people say a bunch of things, just because people do a bunch of things, that doesn't make it so. That doesn't make it a legitimate, substantiated argument. I substantiated my argument through definition. I substantiated my argument through the dictionary. So I didn't pull it out of an arbitrary anecdotal experience. I substantiated it through actual facts. So it's not my truth and Smitty's truth, it's just the truth. Guys,
it's just not that
We
complicated.
embrace the truth over here. So you did it, Israel.
It's not that complicated.
The show sponsor, Israel, he said, bump the laptop. I needed this cash out for my meds because y'all driving me fucking crazy. Go ahead, Simon.
I'm just saying, like, I come from the place where you get those phrases from. I come from the place where you get these phrases like kings and queens, right? I come from the places where you get these phrases like, oh, these ladies are supposed to be this or that. And the fact of the matter is they're titles. So when you turn around and say something like, and I'm not disagreeing in terms of what anyone said on the platform, I'm just saying, no one is entitled to a title. You have to earn that. If I'm going to be a knight and I get an MBE or an OBE and I'm recognized by the king or queen of the monarchy, which you don't have, by the way, you don't have that system. But you've adopted the phraseology in terms of in your own set of circumstances, in your own houses, in your own apartments, in your own lives, and in your own set of circumstances, in your own relationships, because it makes you feel a bit better. But the fact of the matter is unless you're an actual factual, it don't make you be that person. Like, people talk about this stuff all day long. I could be knighted tomorrow. The chances of anyone else on this platform being knighted tomorrow is very, very slim, unless they go through me. And that's a fact. I don't care what people are talking about in Portugal and all that crap. They're talking nonsense.
We're going to the men.
Can I make one tiny comment? I promise it'll be short.
Okay,
all right.
I'm 5 foot. Make it that short.
Okay, it's easy. This is the thing. Women are, like, they're talking about the transition from girl to woman. The bottom line is, for women, it's always gone backwards. They're granted the privilege until they prove themselves otherwise. And that is how society has structured it. A lady is a virgin until somebody decides otherwise. A lady or a female is a virgin. A female is virtuous until the male section deems it otherwise. So
Leanne, but this is the order of operations. The man was here first. We come from a man. We got one of his ribs. As much as you don't like to hear that shit, Leanne, we come from a man. The order of operations, the women belong to the women. No, the children belong to the women belong to the men, and the men belong to God. That's just how it is. We can't change that. No matter how much we say we're equal and we're this and we're that, we will never be equal to a man. Period. And the sooner us women learn that, embrace that, is when things will get better. Because obviously women trying to run shit, and feminism has destroyed our community and our lives and our children. It's not working.
What did feminism come from?
What do you mean, where did feminism come from?
Where did it come from? And why did it come from?
Bald-headed lesbians wearing pussy hats.
It came from the bowels of hell and the butthole of the devil.
I'm done. I gotta get another drink.
Who the hell
Hold
said
on,
that,
Izzy.
man? God damn. What the
This
hell
is
is
what
that
these
all
guys
about?
tell each other in the locker
Jesus,
room, dude. This is
people
all
are
it is.
really
Feminists,
May I close
unhappy.
my point, please? May I close
Unhappy.
my point?
Yeah,
No.
And the reason why I asked the
feminism came from the
question.
bowels of
You
hell.
need to
and
get
the
Happy
balls
Meal,
of
man.
God.
That's what those
Go,
adverts are
go ahead,
about. They're
Pot.
buying to
Go,
that
go
shit.
ahead, intellectual. Go ahead,
Okay.
intellectual.
Now, I'm closing. I'm closing this question. I'm closing by these
Yo,
statements.
this is
The
crazy.
reason
Go
why I
ahead.
brought up this question was this, right? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? With men, we always have to earn that title as a man, right? If you don't know how to talk to
Yes,
women, they
you're
won't.
right.
They'll say that you're not a man. If you don't know how, if you can't get a job, they will tell you you're not a man. If you're not able to get your own home or your own car, you're automatically not a man, right? We have been told this for years. So my thing is that men have to hold women to a standard as well. Stop allowing women who are not women, who are acting in the place of a girl or acting immature. Stop allowing
Just
her to
because
have
they're a
that title
female.
as a woman. Yeah. I'm gonna call you a female. If you don't do certain things a certain way, you're a female. And a lot of women have these standards on men where they want you to have your own car, your own place, your own career. And I try to tell women, look, you gotta pick a struggle. You may want a guy to have all these things, but if he has all these things, if he has his own place in his own car as well, he may not live in the best community because most men in this country don't make that much money. They don't. Look at the statistics. We don't overall make a lot of money. You know what I mean? Especially if you want a man of color. We don't make a lot of money. We don't. Statistically.
No,
we don't make a lot of money.
Speak for yourself. No, speak for
I'm
yourself.
talking about overall. We don't make a lot of money. I hear you, Ezra. We don't make a lot of money overall.
Don't
You know what I'm
do
saying?
that.
But you have to look at the
You're
structure
not
of
selling us
society
right.
and
Wait,
who
hold on. You're not
established it.
selling us right, intellectual. Come on, sell us better. You was doing good at first, and then you just went.
I hear you. Hey, I just gotta keep it. I gotta keep it 100. But hold on. I haven't talked in a minute. Hold on, Simon. Give me 1 second, bro. Give me 1 second.
I'm not.
Now, I have a question. I have a question for our host, right? Now, Grace, right?
Go ahead.
I see
Go
that
ahead.
you are very respectable. I see that you're very, very cool and very just chill. But I can tell at times, right? Maybe based on insecurities or anything else, at times you make it spicy. You make it a little attitude, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
therapist. I'm working
So-
on being more graceful versus so
where
gangster.
so where does that come from? Why do women feel that they have to do that at times?
Well, that comes from always being in survival mode. I'm from New York. I'm half Italian, half Dominican, and I'm not trying to use it as an excuse, but I was raised by a dad that raised me like a boy. So I have a lot of masculine energy. However, I'm embracing it and trying to work on that and tone it down. That's why I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it comes from survival mode. Women tend to be on, I'm a woman at the end of the day. Yes, I advocate for men, but I'm also a woman, and us women tend to be on survival mode much more than y'all men. We got to constantly worry about if this person is being genuine. Is he being disingenuous, or is he trying to do business with me because he's genuine, or he trying to get in my pants? It's like we constantly have to be on guard. Y'all, we on the defense a lot more than you guys are, and you guys are on the offense a lot more than we are. I'm gonna put it in sports terminology where I know y'all can relate to me.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yes.
Is that because you guys are mostly in men's spaces?
No, because we have to be in y'all space, because y'all in our space. We have to live together. But let's ask another woman besides me. Okay. O'Shea, what do you have to say about his question? Because I love the fact that I have women here now on the panel, because we learn from each other. I can't just have all men all the time. So I'm loving it. What do you have to say?
Can you repeat the question specifically?
Well, it was his question.
I can. I mean, what is that?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug playing in the background.
Yeah, what the hell is that, man?
That's me fucking with y'all.
All right, goddamn. No, I was saying most of you women are.
Look, don't be trying to program us subconsciously to get on cocaine. Turn that off. Turn it off.
It's crazy, man. God damn, you gonna get a life. What is that?
Let me stop.
The question initially was, what was why do women at times through the insecurities, why do they catch an attitude? That was the question.
So the question is
I'm trying to get
why.
it off, guys.
So the question is why do
Embrace. Why are you doing that, man? Come on.
Yeah, I'm
Because
gonna
I
be I'm gonna
can.
be out I'm gonna
Come
be out
on.
looking for
Stop
crack.
that.
I'm gonna have to leave. I'm
Wrong with it.
gonna be out looking for crack now. I can't take this. I don't know what's going on.
I'm changing it. I'm changing it. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm talking over the music.
Look, she's trying. No. You trying to program us? She's the plug. I knew it was something. You're the plug, and you're trying to program us to
Come
come get some clips from
on.
you. I knew it.
Stop.
It was something.
So Lola, did you understand the
Stop
question?
if I'm not mistaken, you're asking me why does insecurity produce an attitude, right? Correct. Did you say right?
Yes. Why do women catch an attitude through their insecurities instead of communicating logically? Why they automatically just run to the attitude and the tears and all this other stuff?
Okay, I take offense to the idea that women, as in this is innate to all human beings, and there's no other choice in the matter, and this is just something that we do because we're wired to do that. I think that kind of shuts the conversation off right there and answers the question without me having to say anything. Why do women do that? Well, if all women do that, it doesn't matter why. They're just gonna do that. Like, like the question kind of says certain other things too. Furthermore, all right, insecurity is something that has to do with feelings. It has to do with perception of self, perception of others, the want to be included, right? And being excluded or exiled produces negative feelings, things like that. So when we say, well, why do women have negative feelings when they're excluded for how they look? Or why do women feel sad when they don't experience certain things? And why can't they just know how to communicate these things? As if human beings as if we came into this world with a guidebook. Like, seriously, like the same questions that's being asked, that question that's being asked can be asked of men. But are we saying this is a male issue? No, it's not a male issue. It's a human issue. And if we're
It's
really
a
trying
universal
to say,
issue.
if we're really trying to say, we're trying to understand why we feel that we don't communicate, because we just don't want to. It doesn't feel good. Sometimes we just don't want to have to say certain things. I know for me in my life with certain people I deal with, it's just certain things. If I have to say it, I'm not. And there's other things I'm going to say, and I'm only going to say it once. And then there's other things I'll say 11 times because I care. So at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I have paradoxes that will not go anywhere. That's just what it is because I was born into this world. Now, if we say, well, women should be emotionally mature, based on what data and biology are you talking about? I'll accept whatever you got to say. But if you're saying women should be extremely logical as men, you're going to have to prove that. I don't know that to be the case. I don't know men should be just as emotionally volatile as women. Give me some data to prove that's what they should be. I'm just saying. But either case, I don't do the whole, well, why aren't women more logical? It's like if we were just as logical as men, we wouldn't need men.
There would be men.
Actually, statistically, they are as logical as men.
Hell no. That's not.
There's actual brain science to prove it. But
cite your source,
God forbid.
please, Leanne. Leanne, please cite your source because by and large, that's not the case. Cite your source.
Leanne,
there's actual studies.
Leanne, I think, and I'm gonna say this to you as well. I'm gonna make the same point to you as well. You said that women are just as logical as men. If you study anthropology and you study biology and also chemistry as well, all three of them put together, what you find is that there's different types of logic, just like there's different types of intelligences. The logic of a female is more eminent, as in right now, because we deal with children and children's lives are a right now issue. Men deal with long-term logic because they have to deal with maintaining more than one or two or three people, including themselves, on a regular basis, generally speaking, in every culture. It doesn't even matter what day or time you're talking about. So their logic is different from our logic. They don't get our logic, and we honestly might not get their logic, but we're not supposed to. We're not built to. We don't need to. It's unnecessary. So to say,
Can I
women-
answer
hold on,
that?
Simon, damn,
No, Simon, she cooking, man. Why you want to say some silliness when she's saying some brilliantness? Go ahead, sister. Go
Well,
ahead.
Now I'm turning
Don't
off
let
you,
Simon
bro.
derail you.
Simon,
Go ahead.
what I'm trying to say, Simon, to Leanne is that she's not wrong to say women are just as intelligent and just as logical, but to leave it that way, to give the insinuation that we're supposed to be working on the same level and type of logic that males are, means that she is not studied in those three sciences that I just named, because there's no way that you are going to prove that women are working with the same level of chemistry that men are to produce the same chemicals that men produce when they are thinking logically. It's not the same. I'm not saying that they're better at all things logical than us, but there's different types of logic being used here. And it's like, I can acknowledge that without feeling less than.
Bars.
It's not
Where's
coming
the
from
bars?
less than. There are actual studies, physiological studies, where they're actually gauging the logical sources of the brain and measuring it, and there is not a marked difference between women and men.
I just told you that there is no difference. There is no difference in terms of logic. It's different types of logic. I don't know where the disconnect is.
Please cite your source, Leanne. Please cite your source.
And I didn't mean for my question to be offensive to any women. So if you felt
No, that's
offended by
fine. This is what we do. Intellectuals,
You know what I mean?
this is what we do. We
No, but
face each other's
if somebody
ideas
feels
and point of
offended,
views.
if somebody feels offended by my question, I do apologize.
No.
Although if you felt offended by
Over
my
here, if
question,
it
I do
don't
apologize.
apply, let it fly. If it
No,
don't
no,
apply,
somebody
let it
said
fly.
that.
The shoe fit, wear that shit. That's words from an angry man.
Wait,
Okay? Wear that shit. If it don't apply, let it fly. If the shoe fit, wear that shit.
So Max, no, you
You
was
know
good.
what I'm saying?
You was good. You was good.
Why
so
you
much.
apologizing for asking an illogical question, brother? Hey, any question is a good question as long as someone answers it.
Right,
Yep,
right. It's a good
as
question
long as
because
you
it's
ask
it's
it.
a question people want to know. It's not granted. Yes, some people would feel that way, but I was answering it in respect to just it being a general question that people tend to ask. Well, why don't? Not that I take it offensive that you asked me, but the question in and of itself is a question we all ask. Like I have asked myself before, why is it that men just don't understand about the toilet seat? Like it's just logic. Like. But at the end of the day, it takes a little bit more maturity to understand how something that's not yourself, a whole nother species in essence, thinks. You will never know how a cat thinks unless you are a cat. You can think you understand their movements, but you'll never understand the mind of a cat unless you are a cat. Now, if you mad because you don't understand the cat, well, don't be around cats. But
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like I ain't take offense. It's just the question.
Can you explain this to me? I was in
Okay.
a 10-year marriage and my wife kept the toilet seat up for 10 years. So what does that make her?
We ain't gonna do you like that, Simon. Why
Simon,
you
are
take
you
yourself up
asking
like
me
that?
that?
What's that, true?
Yeah, because you said that's part of the logic, right?
What
It's
up,
like,
homie?
okay, men do this, women do that. And the fact of the matter is it doesn't necessarily work like that based on who you've met. Like, so you may have your idea of the men you've met, and what you're doing is having an anecdotal sort of experience in terms of your logic and your understanding of the world and the people that you've met. But that's not necessarily the case. If you put yourself in different rooms, you may come across certain different types of people that may make you think a different type of way. But you just haven't done that. So
No,
what you're saying and what you're explaining to the people, I'm just saying out there, I'm not saying to the whole panel, everyone's got their own different experiences.
She was spot on.
Like,
she wasn't speaking anecdotally. So listen, the thing of the matter is she was
how can you speak for her, Israel? You done this on a no, don't do that. You don't know. I'm talking.
She wasn't
I'm
speaking
talking.
anecdotally. There's
Israel,
always exceptions to the rules, Simon.
I'm yo, it's not an exception. This is a mass consumption thing.
Here we go.
Yo, you've never actually been in a school where you come across tomboys.
Yes.
Right. How many in terms of percentage? You know, I mean,
less than 1% in the
so
school.
what we're no. It
yes, I'm telling you.
Maybe because you didn't pay attention to them because it wasn't the girl you wanted to check. The fact of the matter is men see what they want to see and women see what they want to see. So what ends up happening is we have this blob of a misunderstanding and we come to the center and we have a conversation, that's fine, that's cool. But what I'm saying is, yeah, you could say it's a 1 or 5% and this, that, the other, but I just don't think we should put in extremes, because if you literally look at the world in terms of the statistics and what actually goes on, we're all different types of people, and it comes back to this
Simon,
thing. Yo,
let me
just
ask
give me
you
a
a quick
minute,
question.
bro.
I just want you to
Bro,
clarify.
no.
Hold on.
I am
Ask
clarifying.
your question,
Yo,
Simon.
Can I
yo,
add True into this? He just got here. Can I add my boy?
Yeah,
True?
I just want to ask Simon a quick question. Simon,
bro,
Go ahead.
don't interrupt me. Like
Can I ask you a
I'm
quick
gonna finish
question?
in 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Oh my God, I just wanted to understand.
Israel, don't do that, man. Don't.
Go ahead, Simon. I'm not gonna mess with you. Go ahead.
You kill me. I love you, but you kill me. I'm just saying, like, we've all grown up amongst these things that we're talking about, and this is why we're having the conversation. Do you understand? It's not either here or there, but it's for us to have the conversation, and that's all. Go, bro. Thank you very much for allowing me to complete my sentence.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, True. I'm gonna let my man True get in.
True, go ahead. True, drop them gems on the table like you always do. Introduce yourself and let people know where we can find you.
True Tables in the name. You can find me on YouTube, any major platform. The way it's spelled. I'm just trying to add to the conversation. You guys are cooking. I don't know what you want me to speak to exactly. So what do you want me to tackle, Grace?
Well, first of all, let's just break the ice, because we're about to start. I've been trying to get to the insecurities of men. So why don't you jump it off? What do you think are the top 2 insecurities of men?
I would say height, and then the economic earning potential. But what I will say, with a caveat, is that those insecurities are not shared amongst men defined, meaning most of the time they're definitively exacerbated when you're comparing it to the opinion of women, because most men don't truly care about how tall they are, how small they are, or how much money you make, but they do understand that it's valuable in the eyes of most women. Because men amongst men, they'll talk about it, they get over it, keep moving. But it's readily talked about and emphasized when it comes to how much female attention this man gets, so on and so forth. So that's what I'll say to that.
Can I speak to Simon really quickly? I don't want to take up too much time as you guys are moving forward, but Simon,
Can y'all cam up? Because I want to see y'all. Y'all hiding behind the camera.
let me say this to Simon. Okay, Simon. Here's the thing, right?
Okay.
I wasn't speaking anecdotally, right? Because when I speak anecdotally, and you know me, you've seen me on other panels, I love to give my own examples, and I love telling people that I can't speak from a life and experience I've never had. So when I'm telling you in my experience, and then I give you my experience with all the parameters, I'm literally telling you this is my answer based on this. That's what I consider anecdotal. Now, if I'm wrong in that, right, somebody might need to correct me. However, right, the conversation, or at least the issue me and you were going back and forth with, is about the logic between men and women. My point was, men and women are operating on 2 different types of logic. It's not one logic in different degrees in both. No, it's 2 separate types of logic. Here's where I'm gonna get on my black woman shit, right? I have 2 degrees. No, I'm sorry, I have 3 degrees. I keep forgetting about that third. I have 3 degrees, okay? One is in anthropology and the other one is in genetics, specifically forensic science. Now, you know what comes with that. I don't need to tell you that, right? So you know the amount of study that I've put in to college and in advanced degrees to understand the basics. And I don't know everything, but the basics, okay? What I'm going to say to you is this. In my anecdotal experience, based on all of that training and education and sideline research that I've done in this area, okay? My experiences when it comes to my logic as a woman, the logic of other women I've noticed, and then men that I've met across the board, right? It has been proven to be true in that, for instance, this happened earlier today. I was in a vehicle with a man and there was a problem, and he seemed to couldn't figure out the problem in the immediate, right? I had an immediate answer. And it was a good one. If you need this, that, I got that. Here we go. I know what to do. However, And he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. But then maybe 4 seconds later, he said, no, that's a horrible idea, because if anything should happen down the line, the cameras are going to pick up just us, and then we'll be the only thing here, and we won't have an alibi because of where the vehicle is. Therefore, let's not do that. The difference is, as a woman, I'm thinking about solving an immediate problem because I have a propensity to do that based on my makeup. All these millions of years of genetics has made me think immediate solving, right? All those millions of years has made him think long-term solving. Now, here's the thing. The answer was solved, right? And it doesn't mean that my answer wasn't a good answer. However, in the long term, we're running a greater risk than dealing with it in the short term. So his idea was better than mine based on what we were trying to do. So my thing to you is this. I understand you're saying, well, in my anecdotal experience, and that's true. However, just because I'm stating a fact, not a fact, just because I'm stating my anecdotal experience as my basis does not mean that I'm not factually correct. It takes a lot to prove someone non-factually correct when they're saying what happens to themselves as a human being. Because I have the authority to say, as a woman, this is what's going on. You have the authority to say, as a man, this is going on. However, in your statement, you did not rebut what I said. You only told me that other people are different. That's all you said. You didn't actually prove what I said to be incorrect.
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Grace? Can you stop breathing so hard in the
No, I'm just saying. Are
you okay?
I just want to be cool. Like, I'm just saying, you know, because I've been on platforms. I don't want to get booted off. I'm just saying I want to respond.
Go ahead, quickly, please, because I want to move on to the men. And I got to introduce my girl Jane. That she, you know, so go ahead, answer your question. Then we go to Jane, and then we move on to men. That's the plan. Let's stick to the plan. On that note.
Yeah, I mean, so Lola, all I'm saying is, like, we've been having these conversations all day long about, you know, qualifications versus experience, right? And unless you have real experience in what you're talking about, it don't really qualify you to actually live in real life, like in the real set of circumstances. So what it is the only reason I speak the way I speak is because I've actually seen that shit. Pardon my language. I'm just saying, I have 5 sisters. I've seen them go through this over and over again. So when you're turning around and saying certain things to me, I'm like, okay, maybe you haven't really experienced that from your perspective based on the fact that you might not have had those set of circumstances. And it is anecdotal on both of our behalves. And that's the conversation that we're just having. But the fact of the matter is maybe I have a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit more, you know, experience in terms of what I'm talking about versus what you're saying, and I could provide you with a bit more information that could maybe provide you. I'm coming out of here. Wait a sec. I'm gonna land this. Wait a sec. Just in terms of, if you listen for a minute, maybe you may be able to learn something rather than going back to the fact that, okay, this is like an educational thing, and, you know, versus what I'm actually speaking about. But that's cool.
I hear you, but let's get to the meat of the sandwich so we can move on. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So with that being said, Jane, go ahead. Introduce yourself and say what you got to say.
Okay. Can y'all hear me okay? Oh, wait.
Yep.
You can? Okay. I can't hear myself, but okay. So we're talking about insecurities. I think Smitty mentioned earlier that a lot of female insecurities come from other females, which I do agree with, but I also think it comes from men pretty much equally as well. And I think men's insecurities also come from other men. Like, I always hear men don't really care about how, like, they don't value a woman's opinion of them. They value themselves based on how other men view them in society. So your value comes from a woman's opinion of men?
No, but this is the biggest. Most men will not be honest, but most men value what a woman says about them way more than what another dude says about them. I'm just saying.
Completely wrong. Completely wrong. Completely
Smitty,
wrong.
how you gonna
Completely wrong.
Yo, listen, you got every time I start talking, everybody can start talking and you don't say
I've been
nothing.
quiet for
When
I'm gonna go quiet for another 45 minutes. Go ahead,
yo, I don't,
you're not gonna play that. You're not gonna play that. I've been quiet.
Why are you talking over me though, fam?
You are completely wrong.
You can believe what you want.
Continue to say what you gotta say. You are completely wrong.
Bro, because your mic, Simon, God, yo, whose mic is that? God, dog. Listen, that's why True Table is shaking.
Put on mute.
That's why True Table is shaking his head. Yes, the biggest secret, the truth of the matter is most men will not admit this, but the truth is most men take way more stake in what women think about them than what other men think about them. We really don't care what another dude has to say because guess what? Unless you like men, it don't matter. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Smitty. You want to talk about that?
All right.
Go ahead,
So
Smitty. You want to get into
what we're talking about is what we're talking about. Respect, Grace. What we're talking about, Israel, is two different dynamics in the same correlation. So I see what you're saying on that aspect. When it comes to the actual sexual attraction, now, when it comes to actually what really, when it comes to I'm a man, oh nah, bruh, we get that from other men. Why do you think we continuously say a woman can't raise a boy to be a man?
That's not what she was asking. You're absolutely wrong. That's not what she was asking.
Okay. So you do exactly what I do, but yet I'm the one cutting people off and I can't shut up, right?
I'm doing it intentionally to fuck with you because you
my man.
I'm doing it intentionally. You know
I love you, bro.
I love you too.
All right, you know that. So what I'm saying is that we know this when it comes to the sexual attraction. Yes, Israel, you're right. When it comes to what haircut I get, how I dress, maybe my style, my swag, bruh, as long as the women like it, man, I don't care what y'all say. You are absolutely right. But when I'm talking about specifically the other aspect of that, before we even get to that point, the confidence, the everything, like not caring who says what about you as far as maybe you being not what everybody thinks you should be. All of that, those characteristics, what really makes a man, that is something that us as men, we get from other men. All right. Our masculinity, we get that from other men. Do we or do we not?
Right, but Smitty, that's not what. And now, correct me if I was wrong, young lady. What's your name down there again? What's her name?
Jane.
All right, Jane. So correct me if I'm wrong. All right,
you can call me Jane.
All right, Jane, because you asked the question. So correct me if I'm wrong. What I heard you say, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. You correlated women's insecurity coming from other. Hold on, I'm talking to her real quick, Smitty.
I'm just saying.
You correlated women's insecurity coming from other women, right? Like Smitty said, but you said that it also comes from men, right?
Yes.
And then you said men's insecurity comes from men as well, right? That's what you said, right? Am I incorrect?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what I said was, no, most of men's insecurities come from women and not from other men. That's what I was addressing. That's it.
Yeah. And so on the same aspect, I think that females care a lot more about what men think of them than other females too. But we have this perception that females care more about, we do care about how other females think of us, but that's because we care how a guy looks at us. We want the females to, does that make sense?
No, Jane, right there.
We're better than
Jane,
other
right there.
For
right.
them,
you're competing with other females for the men to set attention.
Yeah, so
exactly, because if they're looking at that woman, and if that, okay, so they're saying, you know what? Oh, dang, how she looks is how the men respond. Exactly. Now, what you're saying is real when it comes to what we talking about. Yes, you're absolutely right. When it comes to how men look at ourselves, yeah, nah, we ain't trying to attract no dude. We don't care what you think, bro. As long as the women, because think about it like Pretty Boys. Pretty Boys didn't care. Why? We didn't care that other dudes would call the pretty boy like, oh yeah, he's gay, he's this, he's that. You know what I'm saying? He's sweet, he's soft. You know what I'm saying? He can't fight. They didn't care. Why? Because the women was attracted to him. But the thing is that when it came to when those pretty boys were around
So can we
other
move on to the men
masculine,
now?
yeah, I'm landing it, Grace. But when it came to when those pretty boys was around other masculine men,
Okay.
it was a whole different dynamic, Israel. And that was really when they saw it. Am I a man? The women give them attraction based on their looks, based on their swag. That's not the same thing as a man giving you your affirmation based on your man, like how you carry yourself around other masculine men. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
This guy's talking like some high school stuff,
All right.
man. I swear to God,
So we
don't rock like that,
are
man.
moving over to the
And
men.
you dress like
So,
you're still in
ladies,
high school.
ladies, I need you.
How do you know how I dress, bro?
Okay,
Lord
I'm
God, you see
I'm
what I'm talking
speaking,
about?
guys. I'm trying to move the show
Yeah,
forward.
I'm a chill. Sorry, bro.
Simon,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Grace.
Smitty,
Sorry, Grace.
gentlemen.
Grace. I'm a Grace you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you. Embrace my grace. So anyway, ladies, I need you to pay attention to this. Gentlemen, I need you to interject with what I'm saying. Okay, because as us women, again, we need to learn men more, because obviously we're not doing a very good job, because we wouldn't be in this mess that we are in right now. Okay, so with that being said, this is going to put the men in a vulnerable space because they don't talk about this shit. They suffer in silence. But in order for us to learn men, we need to learn men. So with that being said, it's just not women that goes through a lot of insecurities. In fact, men are quite insecure, as well as several things in their life, whether it's their body, their job, their relationships. Men go through insecurities that aren't able to express at times, and this can lead to severe self-esteem and confidence issues. Okay? Men struggle when it comes to meeting expectations. We expect a lot from our men. They'll do 99 things right, and the one thing they fuck up on, that's all we key on. Okay, they'll do 99 things right, and we'll fuck up and we'll just key on that one thing they did wrong because I forgot they're fucking superheroes and they're not human and they're not supposed to make mistakes because they're ready built. Again, if you come to my channel, I'm an advocate for men, and I'm letting y'all know how it is. We women have been talking for too long, and men have been silenced for too long. And I have a son, and this is shit that he has to go through. So this is why I'm going through this. Men have this inbuilt thought in them that they must meet up to the expectations of all the people around them, or else they are not worthy. Again, and I'm gonna repeat it. They'll do 99 things right. He did everything right on Valentine's Day, but he got you the $3,000 bag, but because you didn't get the $6,000 bag, he ain't shit. I had a guy tell me, stop looking at what your ex is doing, not doing, and start looking at what he is doing. And that right there was like a light switch that went off on me. Damn. We always complain of what our baby daddies ain't doing, our ex-husbands ain't doing, our boyfriends ain't doing, but do we really take the time to see what the fuck they are doing? How about that?
I think you.
So starting with the number one, I'm not gonna leave that one for that. Finances is one of the biggest insecurities that men go through. How much they make is based on the assumption that men are supposed to be the providers. So we always tell them they have to provide, and we put this pressure on them that we're strong and independent women, but they still have to provide. But at the same time, they have to constantly be worrying about their finances because they know If they lose their job, you're only gonna give them a month to go get another job. Whereas a man will let us not work for 3, 6, 9, 12 months and not really say anything. But as soon as a man loses his job, he ain't shit.
Okay, Grace,
Gentlemen.
Go
ahead. Whoever want to jump in, jump in.
I'll since I started talking first, I'll go ahead. I'll give you a little bit of pushback on that statement. And the pushback I'll give you is, you said that this expectation to provide is based on an assumption that men are supposed to provide. I'm going to say that that's not entirely true. And when I say not entirely, I'm going to put it at 98%. Like, I'm really that sure that it's not based on an assumption that men are supposed to provide. Because if you ask most mature men about their willingness to provide, they're going to tell you that, no, I kind of have to. I just feel this need to make sure that I'm in control of my life. And therefore, I have to provide for that life, and anyone else that I bring into it, I have to make sure that I'm the leader of that, because I just feel like I should be doing that. Even if they don't fully understand it, they have a natural propensity to move towards that. It's only when we get into some of this unnatural stuff that you see men kind of doing other stuff. But generally speaking, this is what men are experiencing, and we pick up on that. So therefore, it's not an assumption purely that men are supposed to provide. Their bodies are built to provide. Why do you think their voices are deeper than ours? That has an evolutionary purpose right there, and it's centered around their natural ability to provide and provide more efficiently when it comes to like hand to hand combat. So, you know, that's not an assumption. That's an actual fact. Granted, society has created expectations for a certain type of providing, sure. But to say society has made it where we assume men are supposed to provide, you're opening the door for people to say they're not really supposed to provide. So therefore, if they don't provide, it's okay. They're on the same playing field as women when it comes to providing, and they should be home, you know, doing the apron thing just like women, and being in the soft like that. And it's like, listen, no, let's not open doors that aren't meant to be open. At the end of the day, whether or not you expect a man to provide or not, okay, you need to eat at the end of every single day. And women, we are wired to provide for our children by any means necessary. And I mean that very literally. So therefore, it is not to say women are evil because they're looking for their man to provide because they have liabilities called children underneath of them. Again, men are long-term thinkers in terms of providing for people, not just for children. So like that has its biological base. So I don't want to just kind of harp on the fact that women are expecting something out of men. This is something natural that it, like, I don't understand why we're in a sense harping on that, but that's the only perspective.
And I
say this? Hey, I appreciate
you, but it's,
I apologize, Embrace. Thank you so much for having me. Salute to the panel and salute to your chat. I got to head out, but yo, I appreciate you, Grace. It's been a dope experience, and I apprest y'all conversing with everybody.
I appreciate you coming through.
Hey, no doubt. You know that. Yo, peace.
Take care. Just with a little bit of pushback on that, but the thing is if men are expected to provide, women are expected to be helpmates. So why do we give so much pushback on being a helpmate and being submissive to a man if we expect them to be providers and be protectors? Why can't we play our position? Go ahead, James.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think I mean, women sure do expect men to provide, but I think it's less of women expecting men to provide and more of men actually like demanding to be providers. It just seems like they've always been in the position of like they want to be the ones providing, and that's why there's such a pushback against feminism. Men don't want women to be in a providing position. That's a whole pushback against feminism. So like women expect it because men have put themselves in that position and push back against.
That's their position. That's their job description as men. Is to provide, protect, profess.
That's a job description written by men, by the way.
Exactly. So how can you say women expect it when men are literally demanding that to be their position and pushing back.
Well, let's bring
Can I
context.
ask her a question after?
Yeah, let's bring context because you guys are not entirely wrong. But I think what Grace was saying, and I don't know the young lady's name, not you, Jane, but the other one who was speaking to that, provision has become a very linear
Hold on, let
thing.
me make sure I tell them up.
And then we are focusing hyper on just money. Provision is a man's position. Provision, if I heard the argument correctly, the young lady was talking about even the cognitive process of a man. When we have a problem that we need to start to facilitate, there is a provision of wisdom. There's provision of experience. There are things that I can provide to this scenario that may make us have a better outcome. That's what men's power truly is experience, their work ethic, their abilities. What we've made it is purely financial. And that's where the divide is, because it's never really been centered around money. It's never been about economics. Before money and fiat currency was existing in society, we ran things based on trade. That's how we ran society for thousands of years. It has now become that because we have fiat currency, that now men are to provide. And I think what's the disconnect is that most women take the base level of provision and isolate it to money and then set a standard to where they believe they deserve a lifestyle. And I think that's the disconnect, because truth be told, most men can provide the basics, housing, food, protection. Most men can provide that. And it's a lifestyle disconnect. And I digress.
I think a lot of men are basing the lot of women on a
so
very
with that,
small
moving on,
portion of
guys, I'm
society.
gonna go ahead and move forward with more insecurities of male insecurities. We covered finances, living situations. Men stressed out and get insecure. Most guys know that women generally prefer a man that has his own place, not staying with their mama in the basement. So with that being said, is a lot of men are insecure. Most women would not talk to a man that's living with his mama in the basement. It just doesn't happen. His car.
I wish that was true.
A lot of men
but
are
it's not.
insecure about their car, guys. But go ahead, True. What? Go ahead. What's not true?
I'm sorry. I said I wish that were true. That's not true. There's a lot of dudes out here getting some and have all kinds of weird living situations. It's sad, but it's true.
Women pretend they won't deal with those guys, but then they do anyways.
Yeah, but I think
Exactly.
what you're talking about are two completely different things. Like when True's talking about the fiat situation, you're talking about a different sort of level of understanding about finances. When you talk about just busting someone down and just like tricking somebody, that's a completely different thing, or just going on a date. If you're actually out here trying to sort of meet somebody that you're trying to have a relationship with, you're not gonna be just trying to get a quick fix. You're gonna actually try to think about it. You're gonna try to, analyze what you're dealing with. And if someone even, I'd like to understand if all the women on this panel understood what True was talking about when he said fiat.
Let me say this. Can y'all hear me? Yeah.
we can
Let me
hear
say
you.
this. Provision needs to be done by adults. Doesn't need to be a man thing. Doesn't need to be a woman. It needs to be an adult thing. And this is why I'm saying this. Do you want generational wealth, or do you just want to just live paycheck to paycheck? Because that's really the difference. When I go within my community, which is a really nice community, I reside between California and New York. You know what I mean? That's where I reside at the most. And when I go in between these communities and I live in pretty nice areas, you know what I mean? What I see is that the men work and the women work, and they both establish career paths. And they take care of the family unit, and the kids learn from this family unit, because I'm a computer technician. And in my field, a lot of women have a lot of high-ranking positions. And when I talk to these women, they discuss in depth about how they focus on building family. How them and their husband are focused on building family and rearing the kids in order to build upon that legacy. So that's what provision needs to be a family thing. Doesn't need to be a man or woman thing, especially if you want to live in a major American city or you want to live in a nice area. So we both have to learn how to provide and how to make sure things are protected within the family. It's all about protecting and guiding the family
And in
and
multiple
teaching the
ways.
kids how to do that in multiple ways. Once you get older, now you have taught the kids how to do this, and now your kids own several homes. Now your kids own several businesses. Now your kids are having a great career path and establishing a family. So, and like I said, I've spoke to many different men and women both who have been in high ranking positions, and the one thing they have in common is that they are focused fully on their family growing and becoming better as a unit. You know what I mean? He could be the CEO of the company. His wife can be, you know what I'm saying, working in the company as well. And she could be a doctor. She could be doing something else. But they're all about making sure that they get to the point where they need to get to. If he has to stay home, he'll stay home. If she got to stay home, she'll stay home. Because it's all about being the best for their family. They don't care about anything else. It's all about the family being better and the family growing. And then making sure the kids fall in line with that. So, yes.
Lots of those wealthy families, I feel like, date within their kind of profession. Like you'll see a lot of like doctors dating doctors, or lawyers marrying other lawyers, or like a lawyer and a doctor together. It's like these like power couples kind of. They I just feel like they date within a similar range of profession or educational area. If that makes sense.
Why do you feel that?
I just see a lot of families like double PhD. Like the woman has like a PhD and the husband has a PhD. I just see a lot of. I mean, most families are double income, 2-income households. So when you
what do you do by interest?
Me?
Yeah.
I do a bunch of like different odd jobs all over the place. Kinda.
Would you say you're an entrepreneur, or you just do odd jobs?
I've never really been financially motivated. I'm like an artist, so yeah, I'm not like much of a career person. I would love to have a photography business. That's like the goal. But
all right, so I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Are you single or married?
I'm single. Oh, I'm dating, but I'm not married.
So what do you expect of your husband? Like in terms of your husband comes along, he picks you up. You're an artist, right? Or you're doing all these odd jobs and stuff.
Mm.
What do you expect of your husband? What do you expect him to do for you?
Just love and respect each other, take care of each other, just make sure. I just think we both equally have a duty to just survive together and make it through life as best as we can.
Okay.
Okay, guys, with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next insecurity for men. And we talked about his car, a car. Guys take pride in their cars because they feel it's an extension of themselves. If a guy drives a hoopty, he may be incredibly insecure about what other guys and girls think of him. Having a nice car is often part of the package of a confident guy. Gary, would you agree with that? Oh, is Gary here? Oh, damn, he dropped off. My bad. Okay, so let's keep going. His job. Guys are very insecure about their job. Guys pride themselves on the level that they are at their job or career. Guys who are still at minimum wage jobs are constantly insecure how they measure up in society and in the eyes of people that matter to them, whereas guys in higher positions feel a sense of pride, accomplishments, and self-confidence. You know, a lot of us women, we want the ready-built CEO making 6 figures, where we totally disregard the plumber who's making $80,000, $90,000 a year. We totally, like that lady when you say, will you date a bus driver? Only if he owned the bus. You don't know how much, do y'all sometimes realize how much bus drivers make in these metropolitan cities?
Blue collar jobs make a lot of money often.
And you're absolutely right, but we're so caught up in reality shows and 6-figure men that we're missing out on the good men and then hollering about where all the good men are at. Okay? Another insecurity that men have to walk around with and deal with is intelligence. They feel pressure to dominate in the intellectual field. They want to be smarter than any other man or woman, so they feel like they're the most important person in the room. Personality. They're insecure about their personality, that no one likes them very much because they may be shy or introverted or boring. So, you know, men go through their shit too. And I'm just trying to make us women aware of that we're so focused on our insecurities that we do not consider men's insecurity. They're insecure about their emotional intelligence and intimacy. Sometimes it's connected to behavior or something that they're in their past and that they're embarrassed or ashamed to talk about. And then many men grew up in families where expressing emotions was not encouraged. So they weren't taught how to be emotionally, have emotionally intelligence and be intimacy. Then they weren't taught, they weren't encouraged. And so when they grow up to be adults, they don't know. And then when asked to do so in adulthood, they feel like it's a threat to their security and emotional well-being. So we're asking a lot of each other. Notice I'm using the word each other. Shout out to Leanne. Each other, men and women. We expect a lot of each other, but we don't take the time to know if we even know what we're expecting of that person. That's something to think about. We expect a person to order. True talked about this. He had his friend come over from the Dominican Republic, and he has a whole different type of routine using the restroom. And True didn't go off on him because he had to learn the way of life or how things are done. We have to learn each other and how we do things. We can't expect a person to already know what it is. Some people weren't raised to know how to clean. Some people weren't encouraged to leave the toilet seat up. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Yo, respectfully.
Does anybody have anything to say
Grace,
about that?
man.
Yes.
Yo, Grace, respectfully. Are these the men that you've met, or is it like
this is information
generally?
that I'm getting from sources? No, I don't personalize things, sir. I got this from lifebloomandOld.com. Okay, and there
So is this how women? This is how women feel generally.
These are the top and most common insecurities of men, and I'm relaying the message. This is written and referenced.
If that. Okay, so I mean, I'm just saying, if that's what is literally put out there, it's kind of sad, because what it is it sounds like a village of men, and you could go to lots of different types of villages in all over the world, and you'll come across certain types of men. But if you don't really understand yourself, you're always going to be quizzed about that. And I think this is the problem that women encounter. They don't like, especially intelligent women, because intelligent women are very niche. They will go to places where they seek out. What's up, Death Note? They go to places that they seek out, whereas most women don't seek out. They wait for Santa Claus to come around at Christmas. And the thing is like, it's kind of interesting because I think, especially on these panels, a lot of men like to see women that do this sort of stuff. Like they like to see women that are outspoken, are their type of women, because it's really hard to come across intellectual women. But to say generally, I agree with you, generally, because I've had that experience in my own sense. I can't really just walk out my door, walk down to the supermarket or the mall or, the local shop, convenience store, whatever it is, and think I'm just going to introduce myself to someone, because they just don't have that sort of, persona. It's not going to happen. Especially when you're dealing with things that are the unknown. If you've been in that sort of workplace, you've actually done the whole game. Like we're kind of adults, right? We're not kids. We're not teenagers. For teenagers, young person, I don't know, like how Jane was speaking almost was kind of cute. But at the same time, it was like, maybe you need to learn something, you know, not in a bad way, but I'm just saying, like, and she's in the right place to do that. So all grace to you, Jane. But it's, you know, that's why I'm here, because I think it's a kind of interesting conversation.
You're an adult or you're a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because you expect a person is 53 years old, you expect them to be mature. I've met some 53-year-olds that are totally immature. It's just we got to stop making these expectations because a person is an adult or a person has a PhD. You can have all the book sense in the world and still lack common sense and still be a dumbass.
Yeah.
So you memorized information.
No, wait. Oh, no. Can I just rebuttal quickly? That's true. But what's your standards? Because, you know, the fact of the matter is anyone can have any type of standard. If you're turning around to me and saying you're this person, I expect you to be this person. I don't care about your qualifications. And this is the point that was made over and over again. And this is the point I think that people talk about, because that's the discrepancy. You know, there's certain people that will actually achieve certain things and go, okay, and it matches. But then there's other people where it's like, okay, it don't match. And that's the discrepancy. So it's like, if you're telling me, yo, I'm gonna come to your house and you're gonna cook me breakfast, right? After we've gone on a date, and I wake up in your house and you don't cook me breakfast, then I'm like, well, you're not standing up to your word. And it could be as basic as that. You don't take a qualification to get what I mean, for us to go, okay, there's a discrepancy. And that's the problem with most of these situations. It's not that complicated. You know, it's just like, oh, just pull through. Just that's all it is.
Did you ask if that person even knows how to cook before you assume that you're going to tell them you're going to cook them breakfast? Did you ask first, hey, do you know how to cook?
Most
you
interactions
that they knew how to cook. So you're going to cook me breakfast.
No, it's not an assumption. The most premises are based on the fact that it's like, look, Grace, we meet up right tomorrow, okay? We go on a date, and it's like, you tell me like you can cook. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, come around my house, I'll cook you breakfast. Okay, I'll come around your house, I wake up in the morning, and you ain't cooked me breakfast. So it's like, what are you talking about? It don't make sense. It don't matter how you could be a qualified chef. Do you get what I mean? It don't matter. Like, everything that you fed me then becomes BS.
I'm just curious. What did I say that was cute? I'm just curious what you were referencing. Like, what was the cute thing? I'm assuming you mean like it was like kind of.
The cute thing with you is you having a pink comb.
Like, it's unrealistic. You're kind of like, are you? It sounded like you're assuming what I was saying. I was kind of living in this like ideal fantasy. Like, oh, that's cute. That's how a relationship. Like, is that what you meant?
Nah, what it is you're probably relating that to something in your own life without asking me questions. That's proper. But
well, that's what I'm wondering. What was it that I said that was cute?
No, you see, these types of conversations where that sounds like, you see exactly what I was saying about, like, if I went on, I don't date, right? If I went on a date with someone and someone asked me that question, I'll be out the door straight away, because.
But you said it.
I can't relate to it.
Said it.
Yeah, but you see what you're doing? Like, the thing is like.
I'm asking you about what you said about my comment. But I'm asking which comment.
All I picked up on was the fact that you were talking and you were combing your hair with a pink comb, right?
It's
while
blue,
you were talking.
but yeah.
Is it blue?
Yeah, it's blue.
Okay, cool. I got that wrong. I apologize. Maybe you switched the combs. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Like, it whatever you were doing, it was cute in the moment, and that's all I saw. It wasn't personal.
So it had nothing to do with what I was actually talking about. Okay.
All right. If you want to do that, then cool.
No, that's why I'm asking. I was assuming that you were I assumed wrong. I thought you were talking about what I said. Like you said, I was talking.
What did you say that you're referencing right
Well, that's
now?
what I was
Because you
asking
said a lot
you.
of things.
You said Jane, when she was talking, she said something. She sounded cute or something. So I thought you meant that when I was talking about, I think you asked me what I expect from a husband. I thought you were referring to that comment as sounding cute, as in like, oh, how that would be nice, but it sounded like unrealistic to you. That was my assumption, but that's why I'm asking you, what were you referring to? But now I guess you
Well, if you think about it, I was referring to your point because you were able to reference that point, right?
just now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
Okay,
curious.
so let's move
Yeah.
on from
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Not
Let's move on
complicated.
from this, and let's go from more insecurities. Men go through physical disabilities insecurity. When a man gets injured, whether it's temporary or permanent, it impacts their emotional insecurity. Physical disability can impact their work relationship or hobbies. As soon as a man gets hurt and he's not working, after about a month or two, he ain't shit. But let a woman hurt themselves or have to have major surgery, a man has to just eat it. I'm just trying to show you ladies how we act sometimes, and then we wonder why these men choose to suffer in silence and refuse to voice themselves or talk to us because we're so quick to dismiss them. We forget that they're human. I'm trying to get you in, Death Note, but I'm freezing up again. So if you could get yourself in, I would appreciate it. Being a good dad. There's a lot of guys out there that walk around being insecure, whether they're being a good dad because they're missing important moments with their children, such as the first steps, the first words, a basketball game, a dance recital. All of them make them wonder sometimes, are they being a good dad? And they're constantly hearing, oh, my baby daddy's a bum. He ain't shit. He ain't doing nothing for the children. Again, we're so concerned about what they're not doing, but we don't take the time to see what they are doing.
What is Death Note doing? Is that a
I have no idea what that was about, but I'll just say this to her last point. As much as that might sound, kind of bad, that when somebody isn't doing a particular thing, it just kind of puts everything else in a bad light or not really appreciate it. To be honest with you, let's just look at women, for instance. No matter how good of a mother you are, if your children go one day hungry, we all know what we think about each other as women. Okay, forget the men for a minute. As women, your children can be well taken care of. Let them go out the house with their hair looking like it hasn't been combed or brushed or maintenance in 30 days, and see, how all that good mothering goes out the window in terms of your perception to other people. um, I'm not even going to go into the whole thing with the children. No matter how many years you've been giving them video games and buying them expensive clothes and paying for this, that, and the third, say no one time to something they really want, and they will literally forget everything in their entire life that you have done. This is what humans do, okay? So it's like, I get it. It sounds bad, but we all do that. Literally, we all do that. No matter how well our car has stood up in the last 8 years, right? Let it break down one time. We're going to be pissed off. Even though it's never given us any trouble for 8 years, let it break down one time, we're going to be pissed off. So that's just how we are as human beings. That's not, a scorned woman issue. And I fall victim to that too. Like I do. That just the reason I brought that example up is because that's what I'm going through with my car. It's given me basically heaven on earth, but in the last 6 months, it's just been doing some things, and every other minute I'm spending money, and I get why. So to the men, don't tell me I need to invest in another vehicle. I know this. I'm just holding on. However, I'm still human. I still complain, even though it gave me 8 good years. I get that.
Do you have a man in your life
I have plenty of men in my life, Simon.
that will help you with your car?
Yes, right now, if I needed $50,000 cash for another car, I could do it. However, I'm not going to touch that. All right.
And yeah, but that's the issue. When I say, do you have a man in your life?
Simon. No, Simon. I'm not making money an issue right now. I'm talking about human nature. Okay, let's leave.
No, it's not. No, but you gotta get to the real bones of the crux. It's like at the end of the day, like we're better off together. Like
I'm
rather
not
than you
making that
being.
point. So that's not the bones of my crux. You can.
You may not be making that point. I'm not saying
Right.
you are. I'm just saying we are better off together.
Right.
Because even though I'm divorced, to your point, I'm by myself. I'm single. Although I have lots of people around me, fine. I've got people hollering at me all the world, whatever. But I would say to people, if you can be in a relationship and do it together, then you're going to be better off. Period.
Okay.
It's not sort of a here or there thing.
I get you. I follow you, but I think.
But I'm not saying it's a personal thing. I'm just saying, like,
I got
generally.
you. I'm not claiming that you're doing anecdotal stuff. I'm not saying that. What I am saying to you is this: I think every adult on the panel and listening right now knows that they would feel better and or be better if they had a partner that could work. I don't think anybody is in disillusion that being with a partner that could work would be better for their life. So I don't berate points that I don't need to. My point here is to Grace's point that when somebody does one thing wrong, we literally forget everything they did right because we're so hyper focused on that one thing wrong. And my point to that is a human thing that we all, including myself, struggle with right now. Everyone on this panel has done that to someone or something at some point within this last year. So that's something that I think everybody has to work on. But to the issue of relationships, if you're in a relationship, you have extra practice, right? If you're not in a relationship, your practice will come through other means in terms of, well, how well do you really appreciate people? Do you reach for patience when things go wrong versus you just flying off the hook because you just didn't get your way one time? I know people that are immature like that, but then also I know plenty of people that are not. So I don't want this to be like a woman like a woman thing where women do this and this is just the nature of women, because it's like, no, I've seen plenty of men do that. I've had plenty of men do that to me. I've seen it outside of myself and other people's relationships on both sides. So that's why I'm not here, unlike Miss Grace. I don't necessarily purport myself to be an advocate for any particular side, because at the end of the day, you're going to advocate for fallible people, and then you're gonna have to give an excuse for when that shows up and it doesn't really suit your point. So I don't personally do that, but this is why, because we all fall short in terms of our own expectations, that we continually have to say to someone else, why are you doing that? That isn't right. So that's my point, Simon. I'm not taking away from what you're saying. I just don't see how what I said has anything to do with what you said.
Yeah, I'll come back to you and say, because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in what you're saying. I think it's anecdotal, and I think the fact of the matter is most people make it anecdotal based on the fact that they've had a premise where it didn't work out, and they don't want to really face the fact that it didn't work out because of their own insecurities or whatever else was going on in their life, and they can't really get their shit together, basically. I'm not that insecure. As I said, like when Grace asked a question about insecurities, I brought it to race. I didn't bring it to relationship based on that fact. So maybe I might not be speaking.
So guys, I want to. Go ahead, finish, Simon.
No, I was just saying I ain't speaking for all black men, but I don't think any woman could speak for all black women, but it is what it is.
And I'm not speaking for all black women. Again, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If the shoe fits, wear that shit. So with that, I'm bringing up the number one insecurity of men. And yeah, I'm bringing it. I
just have this. I enjoy it. Hi, Grace. How you doing? I enjoy your show and everyone's contribution to the topic. I just have just a little pushback. Like, When you were saying that when men become disabled or they can't provide or whatever, I know that doesn't mean that you didn't think women felt that way when they're disabled, but I felt like when women are disabled, I think it's like the same level. Like you can't be as good of a mother, you can't run after your children, or don't have the same energy or can't cook or do the things that you used to, so you
Can't have
become
sex.
right. Yeah, you lose your value. I'm just saying it's the same, but for different tasks. I feel like it's the same of all. She's not as she doesn't have the same ability and range of motion as she used to, so she's no longer useful. I'm just saying it's the same to me as women. So when men become disabled, I think if women become disabled, I think they have the same degree of losing their value or going through the same type of feelings that men do for different reasons, though.
I think that's kind of
I
interesting.
mean, I would agree with you. It's just like a car. As soon as you use it and you put 10,000 miles on it and it's not working anymore, it doesn't have its purpose. But the thing, my goal, what I was trying to show is that most men will come in there and will allow a woman to go through major surgery and get well, whereas with a man, as soon as something happens, he after 3 months, he's or she, oh, you got to get a job, or you, this is not this. She's quick to jump ship. And that's what I'm really trying to put forth out here, that we need to have the same type of patience sometimes. Again, I'm not saying that all women do this, but more often than so, we tend to give up on our men much quicker than men tend to give up on us. And
That's
one way
fact.
that they give up, one way that they give us up, they give up a lot on us is when we get fat and when we get old. We
Not
can't
only
control
that, on a
the
lot of
fact
stuff.
we can't control
I disagree.
we can't control that we're getting we can't control that we're getting old, but a lot of us can control about getting fat. And I understand a lot of illnesses, a lot of medications cause us to get fat. There's a lot of different factors, but what I'm trying to show forth here is that men walk around with these insecurities, but we really don't know about their insecurities because they don't say nothing. Men
Yo,
hear about
Grace,
our insecurities all the damn time.
I'm coming around to you, Grace.
Go ahead. What were you?
No, I'm starting to understand what you're talking about.
You know,
Because it's like the thing is like the insecurities of a woman and you know what she may lean to in terms of like the man that she's supposed to go to, she won't do that because it's kind of like there may be a man that may be put in her position or in front of her that may lean into her insecurities, but then what may happen is your whole thing may turn around. So it's like that man's not got your best interest at heart, and then all of a sudden you're in this situation where you may have kids and like, you know, your body type may start shifting, and you know that man's not actually paying attention to you or having your best interest at heart, and then you end up in this situation where you're starting to rethink this. I may be really off where you're going, but I'm just saying, I've seen it in my sisters, but I'm just saying I've never ever heard it on the YouTube streets, because that's kind of interesting in terms of, you know, how women think about things in the first instance and then where they can end up a bit later.
it's like we kick in a flight or risk mechanism much quicker than a man will. And let me hit on this last insecurity that it's gonna touch some of y'all nerves, and it has to do with y'all penis size. A lot of men walk around insecure about their penis size and sexual performance. Guys want to believe that they are the best we've ever had, wondering what we're thinking and how we look and how y'all look when y'all getting undressed in front of us. If y'all sweating too much, or y'all funny faces and making funny faces, whether we're faking it. It's that ultimate question when they ask sometimes, was it good for you?
What's
I
up,
mean, come
Death Note?
on. You know, you guys have to chime in on it. You guys are insecure about ED, erectile dysfunction. Worry about whether your penises will work. And it affects of all ages of men. These are insecurities that men walk around with and are very common with men. But do us women really think about that? Their height. I mean, there's so many things with body image that I was just shocked that men really are insecure about this when it comes to their body image. It's like, it's crazy. They struggle just like women. If they're scrawny, their beer bellies, their height, are they going to grow breasts, their teeth, their sense of style, losing their hair, looking old? Men go through all of this as well, ladies.
Can I jump in
Go
here?
through all of that, men.
You notice all this stuff has to
Absolutely.
do with them caring about the opinion, what women
What's
believe.
up, Death Note?
Just saying.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is I've been listening tonight, and that's one of the reasons I decided to come up. And by the way, my name is Death Note. You can find me here on the JBJ network and also frequenting multiple people's channels. Some people call me the voice of reason. Some people call me Mr. Slightly Disagree. But it is what it is. To get back into it, honestly, Slightly Disagree would have been its name tonight because I disagree adamantly.
Mute
And
yourself,
I already went ahead and muted her.
What do you disagree with that, no?
So you're listing a lot of insecurities that men have, but honestly, men only have one real insecurity. If you wanted to, you could say two, but realistically, men have one real insecurity, and that one insecurity
And teach us.
is a man hoping to be best version or the best person that he can be for the person that he actually selects or the person that he actually ends up with. So the penis size, men ourselves don't care about our penis size. The only reason we care is because we want the woman that we want to be happy with our penis size. It's not necessarily the penis size, it's just we want her to be happy. The amount of money we make, it doesn't matter if we're 40,000 or 400,000 or 40 million. To us, it doesn't matter because we're doing it to be able to get the woman that we want, to be able to say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to stay with that man. I'm not going to cheat on him. I'm going to have his offspring and so on and so forth. We don't care about the car that we drive because if the woman that we be with is okay with us driving a Ford Pinto, then we don't have to get a Maserati. So it doesn't matter about these things. And I think that one of the things that we're doing right now is we're looking at the symptoms rather than looking at the actual root cause. The root cause is that we're trying to make women happy, but we're still trying to be men. And unfortunately, society has told us that to be men, we have to be providers, we have to be protectors, we have to be strong, we have to curtail our emotions, we have to do a lot of these things. But the one true insecurity that a man has is he always questions if he's good enough for the woman that he wants or the woman that he's with. That's the only insecurity.
Finally.
So that's why I had to come up, is because I felt like all these offshoots and everything and trying to deal with the symptoms and all this other stuff, I feel like we were so close, but we kept missing the mark. And so I just wanted to give 2 cents. I wanted to give my 2 cents because the way that I practice life is I don't practice life based off of the exceptions. I practice my life based off of the bell curve. There's people who are going to be in the 10%, in the bottom 10%, but I don't care about them. I care about the people in the middle because that's average. That's a majority of people. And so thinking about what a majority of people are thinking, and I'm some of the men on here, because I'm giving a man's perspective, the men on here can disagree with me or let me know where I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that many men out there agree with what I just said.
I got a question. If I'm trying to understand, Zepno, are you saying so men are more insecure about walking like in their purpose altogether, including women? Like if they're not fulfilling the purpose in life or their legacy they live, that's what they insecure of. And then being the best in everything, part of their legacy, like living up to it, is that the insecurity?
No, the insecurity is being the best that you can be to attract the type of person that you want. So, for instance, a man wants the prettiest woman out there, right? But what a lot of men will do that, and if I go vice versa, which I'll do later on, they want the prettiest, the most feminine woman that they can get. So, what would that woman want? So, a man understands that he probably has to be taller. He probably has to make more money. He probably has to drive a nice car. Probably has to be respected among his peers. And his peers need to be people who are men of substance. So, these are things that he knows that he has to get. But the insecurity that he has is, hey, am I good enough for the woman that I want? And what men typically would do is they'll say, okay, well, shit, I can't get exactly the woman that I want, but this woman right here I qualify for. And as long as she can do the basics, I will stick with that woman. Whereas a woman does the opposite. A woman says, hey, I'll stick with this guy for right now. But if a dude comes along that is better suited towards what I want. That's why they say hypergamy. It's better suited towards what I want and better suited for my offspring. Then I will take that opportunity. So men and women look at things very differently. That's why I said in the comments earlier that the emotional intelligence thing. You hear women say that all the time, or you might hear some emotional men say that. But emotional men shoot up schools. I mean, real men, older case than me, they're very subdued, they're very stoic, and they
But that was
understand their
coined
emotions
by a
and they love
man.
hard. What
I don't
was
know.
coined by a man?
Yeah, I mean,
Emotional intelligence.
So emotional intelligence, again, it may have been coined by a man, but listen to what I said. I said that it's typical that either a woman saying it, you hear it online or any platform, you typically hear it by a woman, or you hear it by a man who some people would call him a simp or somebody who was raised under feminine values by his mother, a single mother, things of that nature. Someone who is emotional. But most men who control the world, most men who have brought us as far as a society to where we are, most men in this kind of level, they don't talk about emotional intelligence. Why? Because men know that we have a mission in this world. And unfortunately, sometimes emotions get in the way. So we don't seem emotionally intelligent because it makes no sense to talk about some of these things. I feel like I'm getting off topic. But yeah, so yeah, men ultimately, in my belief, as far as all the men that I've ever talked to, only have one true insecurity, and everything else is literally lumped up into it.
Okay. I mean, that could be so, but all the insecurities that you spoke for the man to become a better version of himself for the woman that he wants was practically everything I went down through the list. He worries that he has the right car. He worries that he's tall enough. Is his finances good enough? Those are insecurities that men go through. Would you not agree with me?
Well, my point was that a man typically doesn't care about those things. If the woman that he wants to be with and the woman that he wants doesn't care about those things, then men absolutely don't care about those things. They don't care
right.
if I have the biggest penis out there. They don't care if I have the best car out there. They don't care if I make the most money. Literally, I can make minimum wage. If the woman that I want to be with is what did they used to say back in the 60s and 70s? A tree hugger. If the woman that I want to be with is a tree hugger and she wants to live a minimalist lifestyle, then what does my car matter? Why would I care? Those men don't care about their car, their house, their job, and so on and so forth. Why? Because they care about the interactions that they have with people, especially the person that they want to be with. So money doesn't matter to men unless the person that they're looking for, the ideal person that they think is a candidate to be their wife, and that they want to have their offspring, the prettiest woman out there, that's where the insecurities come in, as far as saying, hey, all these things lump up together to be this one main insecurity. Because one of the things that a lot of women hate to hear, but it's definitely true, is that men understand that when they get into a relationship with a woman, unless you're jumping ship every few years, you're with someone who's going to lose their looks. The same woman that you met at 25 is not going to look the same at 55. And she's definitely not going to look the same at 75. They understand that her weight, the weight that she was at 25, is definitely not going to be the same that she is at 85 or 85 or 75. Men understand that the standards that they have when the baby making years are there, that's typically the best that they're going to get. And with the work and the body of work that they put out there, their car, the money, and so on and so forth, if that is what he values, once he gets to that top level, that plateau, then he's happy.
Embrace, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What are you looking for?
What do you mean, as far as in a man? I'm looking for a leader.
Does he need to be 6 foot?
Does he need to be what?
6 foot?
At least 5'10".
So
yes,
he has to be at least 5'10". Does he have to have a car?
Yes.
What else does he need? Are you okay with him having children?
Yes, I'm okay with him having children, but I do have an age limit, the amount of children and the amount of baby mamas.
Okay. So how long have you been single for?
6 years. I mean, I've been dating on and off, but nothing serious.
So do you not think these things are sort of causing barriers to like what you want to do? Or are you happy being single?
Well, at my age, to me, a man having a car, his own place, a job, those are basics. I'm almost 50. So if a man doesn't have those 5 basic things, what's the purpose? Because if I have them myself, I would expect for a man to have them as well. And again, my age is a factor. A 20-year-old is not going to look for the same thing in a man that a 48-year-old is going to be looking for. He has to have a job so he can sustain himself. He has to have his own place, because I have a kid and I'm not bringing any man around my son like that. You got to have transportation, because you're not going to drop me off at work and use my car. And then when it's time to get brakes and new tires, you're nowhere to be around. So those are basic things. I don't ask for much. I'm not looking for a rich man. I'm not looking for a man that has had a PhD. But you got to have at least the basic necessity of life. Is that too much to ask?
Do you think most women ask for this?
Most women have unrealistic expectations. I just need him to have his own place. He doesn't have to have a mansion.
So let's say he was in a itty bitty apartment and he didn't have a car at the time that you met him. And he had a job and he was earning like 30K or something. But he had a background, meaning that he had accolades and stuff like that, and you could build with him and go places with him. He knew a lot of people, and you could go in certain rooms with him, and you can would you do that, or would you just shut him out at the first fact that he didn't have a car or something?
When you say background, what do you mean by background? He had a background.
Well, most men, I would say, at the age of 50 plus, they've done something, right? They didn't get to 50 through nothing.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what they've done, whether it's music or, construction or whatever industry it was. I don't care. Like, I'm just saying, like, but they're down and out when you met them. They didn't have a car and they didn't have something that you would go, okay, this is my 3-point list. Would you just dismiss them?
No, I would talk to them first and see where their mindset is at. Do they have a plan? Do they have a strategy? Or are they just waiting around for a handout?
Okay. I mean, because most men at 50 plus ain't waiting for a handout, right? Because especially if they're single, they most of the time they've either been through a marriage or they've been through a relationship, they've had kids, so if you're
That's not
meeting
true.
them.
Yeah, that's totally not true.
Yeah, statistically, that's not true. Most men are unmarried and childless, especially when they get into their 50s and so on and so forth. And that's one where the term incel came from. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there that statistically that's untrue, what you just said. So
Yeah, all right.
sometimes they call me the voice of reason. So yeah.
I appreciate you, bro, but that's not where the term incel came from. The term incel came from neets, which were young people who have not actually had any experience with women, and they go on forums and bullshit about women. That's if you actually Google it, incel, the term incel, it's not nothing to do with 50 plus men. Nothing to do with it.
No, I'm not saying that that the term incel was for 50 plus men. What I'm saying is that there are a group of men who are involuntarily celibate, and
Yeah, that's incel.
that group of men, that group of men is not just
They're not even
younger
men.
men or anything.
They're teenagers.
Okay.
Google
What
it.
I'm saying,
Literally, do your research, bro. Really, like the term
I've
incels
done
has
it.
been. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Irrelevant though.
So out of curiosity, right? Just to ask you a quick question, right? I'll do. How about this? I'll do my research. I will agree to disagree. So the term incel, you said it's meant for teenagers, right? So if that teenager who has not had any sexual experiences makes it to 55 and still has not had a sexual experiences, what do you call them at that point?
That doesn't happen, bro. What is this
That's
term?
not true. It definitely happens.
So are you telling me you know that? Because I know that. I work with these people, bro. I work with them literally. They're called NEETs. NEET. NEETs. Not in education, employment, or training. Yo, bro, I'm a teacher. Like, they're incels based on the fact that we have been in a certain type of society over the last 3 years, and they live in certain types of neighborhoods or environments that don't allow them to have contact with certain people, and that's why they're called incels, because all they do is they're on the computer and their parents allow that for them. Now what happens is that's all they've known. It's like the Obama era, where Obama will turn around and say, look, no other teenager after I've become president will understand that there was never ever a black president. Like, the fact of the matter is when you indoctrinate teenagers, they become something. And you were that teenager about 20 years ago when you started understanding that you could pull this avatar up and call yourself Death Note or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is we all come from something. And incels I don't think we've actually sort of discussed this on a real sort of level, but the fact of the matter is we could keep blaming people about stuff, but it's not really a nice conversation in terms of really going, okay, 50-year-olds are incels. They can't be incels because at the end of the fact of the matter is they weren't in that generation in the first place. But I do get your point.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, I'm silent.
Well, so I was going to thank you, and I was going to say, thank you for answering a question that was never asked, and or rather, responding to a point that was never made. The entire point that I've made is that, you know, even if you look at people who are currently 70 years old and above, 54% of them are sexually active who are interviewed. But then when you drop down to 50 years and above, literally the numbers grow to like 64 or something like that percent who aren't having sexual experiences.
Where are you getting this information from? 74
I mean,
years old, sexually active. What are you talking about?
By all means,
These guys are in like
by all means,
hospices. It's like, what are you talking about?
by all means, what I'll do is I'll offer you the same response that you offered me, and I'll say,
stop being silly, bro.
Google
You're
it.
being silly, bro. You're being.
I'm not being
Hey,
silly.
Death Note.
I don't
Real quick. I don't.
Wait.
No, hold on. Simon.
Oh, come on. I'm getting out.
I'm gonna be quiet. Stop, bro. Stop being rude.
I'm being.
Bro, I'm gonna shut up. Just let me say listen.
Out.
I'm listening to you guys. Hey, Death Note. What he's kind of saying, not even agreeing. What the statistics that you're going off of, brother, is this like more so like North American, or is it like worldwide? Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to know. And y'all go ahead and rock out. I just want to throw that in.
I don't know why I was put up there like that, but it's definitely statistics from North America, as far as the United States.
And I think that's why he's responding the way he responded. He's not over here with us, bro. He different. He different.
That's perfectly fine. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so it was definitely North America, United States, and you can Google the numbers. As he told me to go ahead and Google, when I said a majority of men aren't having sex, I went ahead and Googled. And it's not even like first page stuff. I literally looked at the first, second, and third pages of Google, looking up the actual information. So you can find it out there. Most men aren't having sex. Most men aren't sexually active like that. Why? Because most times women are looking for the best quality man that they can get. And many times that best quality man doesn't make $40,000. That's not who they have in their mind. You can ask anybody on any college campus. You can ask women right now who are 45 and 50 years old, obviously excluding you, Grace, because you're on the panel. But most of the interviews that you see out there, what are they saying? Oh, he has to make six figures. He has to make 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, stuff like that.
And
that's not a majority of men.
Can I jump in there for a second, Death Note?
Sure, I've been waiting for you. I see your facial reactions and everything. I was like, when is he gonna jump in?
Yeah. So the statistic and the talking point is true, and I really do wish that people would live more in reality. The numbers don't support the narrative. What women is saying and what they're doing are completely different. There's not enough men statistically who make significant money for women to even command and live this lifestyle. They would live a majority of their life single. So what they're saying and what they're doing is completely different. And I know both. I know men who make high six figures into the sevens, and I know men who are broke. And I can overwhelmingly tell you that most women are with men who are economically not attractive. And that's just a number thing. So I get it when people try to paint this narrative like, oh, women are only doing this. That's cap, bro. That's not how it is in the real world. Most women are with average earners. And even to further my point, most women can't tell the lifestyle between a six-figure man and somebody who makes $75,000 or $80,000 a year. They wouldn't even know how to distinguish the two because numerically, they don't know what that looks like. A lot of times they assume based on or the clothes or whatever. They have no clue. They don't know what your portfolio looks like. They don't know what your stock options look like. They don't know. So anyway, I digress.
I absolutely agree because the men that you're talking about are definitely in the top 15%. Even if you're making $80,000 a year, or the case may be, you're still in the top 15% of men, and you're still attractive to them. Now, obviously, if we take out the Pookies and Ray Rays, because obviously we know that everything works on a bell curve, that there are the low lights out there that they want because they have the projection of being strong and that good stuff. But at the same time, there's the other people who are the basketball players, the financial brokers, and all that good stuff, or the case may be, who live a certain lifestyle that they want. Most of the people in the middle are the people who get settled for. They're not the first choice. They're the people who get settled for. So yeah, I definitely agree with you, 100%.
And you're right. I think it does such a disservice. Go ahead, Grace. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish that thought, and then I'll jump in so we can wrap things up because we're going on 3 hours now.
Okay. No, I was just saying that this is probably one of the disparaging points is this, and it speaks to some of men's insecurity because now we live in a modern age where information loops around the planet really, really fast. And this is just me speaking from what I know as well as what I've researched. Most men do not have to worry about being economically sound to attract most women. It's just not factually true. Even the most attractive women, because even with that said, there is way more beautiful women in the world than there is rich men. It's just a numbers thing. So most men just need to focus on being the best version of who they can be. That's really it. And whoever you decide to be with her. But don't try to wrestle with this, I need to go, and no, that's cap. Because like I'm telling you, I've been broke before and I'm not anymore. They really honestly can't tell the difference. They can't. So anyway, I digress.
So one thing that I want to put out there now, this was an awesome conversation tonight because we got to learn each other's insecurities. But in order to work with each other's insecurities, we have to take the time to understand each other's fears and insecurities. And this is where Gary's big thing comes in, prioritizing communication openly with your partner. I mean, if the person doesn't know what your insecurities are or what your fears are, how can you work with that person to help them become a better version of themselves? You have to communicate. You have to identify the real issue by offering support, spending quality time, and creating healthy boundaries. And at the end of the day, therapy, individual therapy and couples therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. It only good will come of that. Because to unravel an insecurity, you got to get to the root of it so we can secure that insecurity, if that makes any sense. And ways that we can cope with our insecurities is acknowledge the role of insecurity in your daily life, fully assess the source of your insecurity, be open with trusted supporters at what you endure and how they can help. Speak to yourself more positively. Take care of your physical health, accept your limitations and celebrate your differences, and preserve professional care. So there are things that we can do ourselves to help with our insecurities. But one thing that I do want to ask the panel, and I've always was very curious about that. Do you think that sometimes the person, and I'm going to start with you, Gary, do you think sometimes that the person that you're with can intentionally or unintentionally making you insecure by doing things to make you feel insecure? Or you know what I'm saying? If you know that this person is a certain way and you keep doing these things and then they become insecure, who do you blame? The person that's causing the insecurity or the person that has become insecure? You kind of get the question what I'm trying to ask?
I believe that I got it. So I think I can answer. I think I can answer it like this. I mean, when I was in my 20s, that would more than likely apply. But because I'm 53 now, clearly I have many more years of experience in dealing with women and understanding women. So at this point in my life, I'm very different. So I wouldn't be in a situation like that, at 53, or dealing with a woman where something like that would happen. It just wouldn't it just wouldn't work for me. But also too, the type of person that I am and the type of woman that I would be dealing with and would be talking to, and if it gets that close where we become an item, she's not going to be acting like that. I promise you that. That would be something, like I said, if I was in my 20s, then something like that would have definitely happened, and I think it would have, and I think that too, in your 20s, there's a lot of immaturity, right? That goes with that. A lot of immaturity and a lot of inexperience that goes with that too.
Okay, I mean, this is fair enough. Smitty, are you there? Smitty? Okay, we'll move on to we'll move on to Death Note. Death Note, do you think that sometimes a person's behavior and the way they move can cause their partner to become insecure?
So if I took that question, if I took that question at face value, then I would say yes. But with all things, there is nuance. Communication is key, and I say it in all facets of my life. That to communicate, and when communication breaks down, that you need to move on. If you're with a man who is there, he takes care of house, he takes care of home and all that good stuff, and all of a sudden he switches up and he's like, hey, I'm going out with the fellas every single night, or the case may be, there's communication that needs to happen. Or if communication doesn't work, you need to move on. Same thing with men. You need to set the standards, set the boundaries, and everything that you have. And when communication breaks down, you need to move on. So can the actions that you take affect somebody else's insecurities? Absolutely. On the face of it, definitely. So if, for instance, I get with a woman and I told her she's beautiful all the time, but now all of a sudden, after being with her for 5 years, I'm no longer telling her she's beautiful anymore. But when we're watching movies, I'm like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful woman that I've seen. And you're talking about actors and all this other stuff for the case of me. Yes, you can build insecurities in others. So again, on the face of it, yes. But I think that there's more to it that needs to be unpacked, but we don't really have the time for that. So I'm not going to go into that.
I hear you, and I appreciate your answer, but I agree with you, because if a person tells you that they're insecure about something and that person continues to do things or move, and then you wonder why that person will act crazy or is jealous. A lot of the things sometimes are self-inflicted in relationships. I think because of the lack of communication, the breakdown in communication. True. Did I ask you that? I think you're next. What would you say? Do you think that the way people move and engage in relationships can trigger that? I guess that's a better word for it. Can trigger insecurities within the relationship or that person?
I believe so. I think that there is a difference between an individual's insecurities and then the insecurity of the relationship, which would kind of tie into trust.
True.
Because you can have a certainty about your relationship until someone shows you, questionable behavior, which could create insecurities in the relationship that are completely separate of your individual self-image, self-worth, or whatever. So I think you just gotta be clear on which one it is. I think most people blend them and they'll take their personal insecurities and project, which you shouldn't even be in a relationship in the first place if your personal insecurities have not been, solidified and solid. because you're bringing somebody a project. That's just not fair at all.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap things up. I just want to thank each and every one of you who came up here, added value to the conversation, good, bad, or ugly, whatever it was. It got crazy again today. I don't know what's going on in Embrace the Grace lately, but I'm kind of loving it, though. The fact that I'm getting people in. I apologize tonight about the technical difficulties. I today made me realize I may really have to invest, and because I know it's not the Wi-Fi. I'm on an Ethernet. StreamYard was tripping tonight. So it's whatever the case may be, I gotta fix the problem because I can't have this. I'm having too many people show up now. Things are getting real. And again, I thank you guys. So let's go around the room. Gary, I'll leave you for last, second to last, because you're my co-host. Death Note, you're there. Again, thank you for coming. I know you don't show up on panels that much, so I do appreciate you coming up and being the voice of reason. But on what you've heard and what you've engaged in, and the topic, insecurities, a universal experience that we all go through. What are your final thoughts?
So, as many people who have been part of the show for a long time know that I have my moments every now and again where I can get very long-winded, and I will choose this moment to not do such a thing. I'm going to say my final thoughts is that it was definitely a good show. I'm always lurking in the comments and lurking as far as watching, but typically it's one or two things that happen over and over that trigger me and bring me up, and that's why I'm here right now. But I watch every video, so yeah, it was definitely a good show. I love the fact that there was engagement on the panel. And yeah, I think that this conversation could be a lot bigger. I actually invite everyone to stay on and come to the back chat, because that way we don't have to be as censored, and we can really have a deep conversation and move forward as far as starting the conversation on many of these things, as far as the insecurities of men and women, relationship insecurities, and more. So that's all I got.
Okay. True. Again, I love your perspective of things that you bring in. You are the age bracket that my analytics brings in, and that's why you're so valuable to my team, because you're the age group that I target, and they need to hear from somebody like you, of you, to understand what I'm trying to do and trying to get out there. So what are your final thoughts on what we spoke about today? And tell people where we can find you.
Great panel. Sorry, I jumped on a little late. I was actually cooking, but anyway, okay. But it was good. I think that these conversations are just continuing to have to be had because people are in a state of wanting to find clarity. So insecurities are a shared thing. It's not a male or female thing. It just requires you to understand them, navigate them, and then be able to convey them and not hold anyone hostage in a relationship with you and make that their responsibility to tackle. That's just not fair. Great panel. I loved it. Israel came up. That was great. So you're doing your thing, Grace. I see you. And yeah, till next time, you can find me.
I'm moving in these streets.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, same name, True Table, TREUTABLE. And thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Smitty, are you there? No, he's not there. Are you there,
What are you
Smitty?
talking about? Why wouldn't I be?
Smitty. Oh, because I asked you a question and we had to skip over you.
No, I'm giving everybody the floor.
Okay, well, we're going with a final thoughts and where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, County King, spell that with a K, no spaces. You can find me on Smitty's Corner YouTube. You can find me here anytime that I am invited, which I love so much, Grace. Thank you very much for having me once again. And you can find me on the JVJ Network every Friday. I digress. My mic is muted. Respect.
Gary, I know it was a long one tonight. And again, I do apologize about the technical difficulties, but go ahead and give me your final thoughts and tell people where we can find you.
Listen, it was a great show. Listen, technical difficulties, when it comes to these things, it's just the nature of the beast, right? It's just the nature of the beast. But it still was a great show.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No, we got
Testing
you.
1, 2.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Keep going.
Okay, so what I was saying, it was a great show. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with stuff like this, you're going to have technical difficulties. It's just the nature of the beast. It comes with the territory. But, you're still able to have a great show with great topics, great dialogue. The topic insecurity. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, people need to understand and know their insecurity. I mean, everybody has some type of level of insecurity, but it's how you manage it, on a personal level. If you're in a relationship, it's about communicating. It's about is having the real conversation, the real communication to help your partner feel comfortable and work through the insecurity. So I'll leave it at that. You can catch me at Boardwalk Global Media. We have quite a few podcasts that we do. We actually have a new studio that we're building out. Our main show is The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, co-hosted by Gary D and Robin. We're on every Friday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, either The Real Discussion or Boardwalk Global Media. And we'll be back in September because we're on hiatus because we're building a whole new studio. Coming back bigger, better, and stronger.
I know that's right. Gary, once again, thank you for your consistent support. I really do appreciate you. So with that being said, to all my embracers, my final thoughts is that, guys, in a nutshell, everybody experiences insecurities at one time or another. It's a universal human feeling. It's an overall sense of uncertainty and anxiety about one's worthy skills, abilities, or value as a person. However, if they're not addressed, it can have a lot of negative impact on your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you have insecurities, you cannot fulfill and function to your full potential. So in the word of Spencer Barbosa, I'm going to bring her up again. She said, are you insecure, or did somebody make you feel insecure? Love yourself. Hating yourself isn't humble. It's stupid. So sit in that. Again, I'm Grace from Embrace the Grace. I want to thank everybody that came on a panel. Spicy, not spicy, every little bit helps. It was a much better show this week, with the respect factor and cutting in, but we made it through. You can find me on, of course, here on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp. You can find me here on Thursdays on JVJ Network. You can find me at Boardwalk Global Network. I'll be there on Fridays sometimes. I'll be there on the JVJ Network Fridays as well. And you can also now find me on Super Sundays at the Sir Hale Show. I'll be there too. So I'm all over. I'm trying to build. I'm trying to make this a channel that's worthy for people to learn, heal, and become a better version of themselves. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming in. We're gonna get better with these tech issues. I appreciate it. Death Note put the link for the back chat in case I really don't do a back chat, but because Network put Death Note put it out there, I'm gonna go back there and see what it's about because I gotta get it off my chest about this tech issue. So guys, again, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Peace. Thank you guys. See you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Hopefully I can end this broadcast. Let's see. Yeah, okay, it'll do it.